Let's go.
Welcome to Conscious Reconstruction. This is Tony Melbourne, aka Sleepy Melbourne, aka the host with the most, aka Mr. Mirror on the Wall, who is the prettiest nigga of them all. Me, bitch. Aka, that's our girl now. Thank you for sharing. Also joined here with the most host, also known as Agent 009, also known as Just Charles.
You're very high energy today.
I am, man. I'm here. It is Aries season. I told you that. Told you that last show. Every episode, Aries season, big Aries vibes.
So you about to start ramming in the walls and stuff?
Big Aries vibes. Ramming into anybody and anything that's in my way. All obstacles getting mowed down this one.
Tony is the person who walks around knife first.
I am. And we also have Big Trina in the building.
Hey.
Doing her thing, arguing about nonsense. She think that AI is going to take over the world. And she's wrong. But let's get into it. Let's get into it.
They're going to take over the music industry
and
the social
influence.
media industry as a whole.
I mean, the social media thing, bots have already taken over, so that's pointless. But
I'm going to tell y'all why, and it's going to make sense.
Well, first, I guess we... man, what's the point of not starting on the conversation that we are already having?
No, we starting right here because the other ones go into the other things I want to talk about. They flow very well into each other.
So this is just the random thing that's out there.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's go into my sphere of influence, which are computers.
Yeah. So that's why I stopped talking. I was like, you know what, Trina? I got my techie nigga. He gonna tell you.
No, I'm just a programmer with some experience in doing it. Some amount of AI programming, but
yeah, he makes them.
What I'm saying to you is that in light of like recent social media drama and people getting accused of rape and these rappers getting shot, do you not think that these big corporations, these big companies aren't going to turn to something else? Just like I was telling Tony, they already got dead celebrities fucking touring Europe right now. You got an AI, the first AI rapper just came out. He has like 5.6 million followers on TikTok right now. Like, these things people pay attention to. Like, James Charles right now is the biggest YouTuber right now, correct?
I don't know.
Okay. There's this makeup artist called James Charles. He's probably one of the biggest YouTubers. He just called out James Charles. Like, there's another AI. She's a social media influencer. She's working with other social media influencers. She's had interviews, all that types of shit. She's making millions of views right now. Like, do you not think these big corporations aren't looking to these things?
What, to use artificial intelligence to their advantage?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, any large corporation is going to look to use anything to their advantage in which they can.
So if I can pay them, that AI less, like whoever made it less, then I have to pay a social media influencer, which I don't know who's going to be canceled that day of the week. Or am I going to pay AI who doesn't, drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't get in trouble, doesn't have rape cases, doesn't talk to little boys or little girls online? Like, which one do you think I'm going to use? The one that saves my money?
I mean, you could just vet who you're dealing with.
I mean, there's plenty of people that get vetted.
They're not very good at it. Like, I think we figured out over time, HR departments aren't actually good at their jobs.
No, but over time, people fuck up. Like, come on.
Oh, I just feel like, for my own tendencies, I feel like most companies should probably reevaluate their business relationships probably on a yearly basis.
Mm-hmm.
And just look at this dude and be like, hey, what you out here do? We heard you've been out here sending messages to random girls online. It's just like, how? Well, you just out here sending blanket messages and somehow you like message one of our social media interns or something. And it's just like, and when you're dealing with jerks, they have like, they're jerks.
Because influencers or whatever are just there to sell shit.
Well, yeah, they're there to increase their social imprint or footprint to then use that social footprint to market for other people.
Of course.
Which is the way things work. So
all I'm saying is for the regular influencer, y'all better start saving y'all coins.
What?
No, it's literally behind on the chair.
Oh.
looking for his towel.
I was about to literally hand you a towel, and you're like,
No, that's what I want.
"Oh." It's like I was about to hand you a towel. That's what I wanted.
Yeah,
I thought you wanted a hoodie because you were cold. But also the other thing is, I don't know. For the most part, social media users are actually becoming very, very wary of these types of things because, like, with the entire bot and the Russian social media thing, is just like, and Amazon's already attempted this with the attempted unionization down in Alabama or Georgia, one of the two. Might have been I don't know. Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia are basically the same places to me, except for one of them hasn't landed in them. I understand people who exist in Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia are probably very upset with me right now, but one of you has Georgia, or one of you has Atlanta, and the rest of you have not very much. There's all the major sporting franchises besides like the actual colleges are all in one city. Like, could we just like group that entire group together and make it like one state?
No, no. I don't think that Georgia's going to just accept Mississippi.
The problem is going to be Georgia doesn't want the other two.
Mississippi's kind of wild. They're refusing aid from the government because they said that their citizens have to be able to rely on themselves and figure it out. So the government just since you Mississippi, offered them aid just so they would give all the poor people health care. Said, hey, we'll give you like $300 million so you guys will give your poor people health care. And they're like, nah, we're good.
What's going on?
We don't want that. Our people will be fine.
They will be incredibly upset if everybody just left.
My nigga, what kind of...
This
how does it...
Alabama or Mississippi?
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
That's what the governor of
Okay.
Mississippi decided.
I have to read it, but
Yeah.
I would be in
Decided-
5 days later. No one lives in Mississippi anymore.
Man, we had to go.
I mean-
What do you mean? Y'all just all left? They have 0 electoral votes.
They don't need them.
It's just like, what do you mean? You're not a state anymore. The only people who still live there work for the government. By the way, no one pays any taxes there anymore, so none of you are making any money.
So 3 places I won't live: Alabama, Mississippi, or Florida.
I can agree with that.
I will live in 2 very, very limited locations. Like, I enjoy the concept of Miami, and
See, I think I like the concept of Miami as a place to go visit. I don't think I would like Miami as a
but
place
the problem
to
with
live.
like existing in Florida is based on the mapping of the political districts and things of that nature. It's like, I know there's only so many places I can go, and it's very transparent. It's just like, here you go. Don't travel outside of this. Oh, you think you cool in little Cuba? You probably not.
Like, I love the South, but
I don't.
I do. I actually would want to move there. The cost of living is actually pretty decent.
If you're
the
not
jobs
okay with
there are
living
cool.
here in terms of like, this is like, Ohio's pretty much as dirt cheap as it gets outside of like,
I don't like going places that are too liberal on the liberal side. Let me put my phone aside. But I don't know.
that there is lynching country.
I halfly grew up in the South. Like, I grew up my dad lived in Georgia, so
Spend a
I
lot of
love
time
the
out
people
there.
there. I love, the food.
Oh no! See,
there.
the
I
black
love
people
the-
out there are amazing. There's some good food out there. I also know that there's some good whites that'll hang you.
Those aren't
That's
good ones.
anywhere. That's anywhere. though.
But beyond that, the respectability politics, I don't like to get into. Like, I'm gonna look you in your eye.
Uh-huh.
A lot of black people like avert their eyes when talking to white people and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to be something that I'm going to naturally do.
What are you talking about? Avert your eyes.
Oh,
Like,
So wait a minute. You guys are cool with invert racism, which places like New York and California do. They'll say they're not racist. At least the white people
I'm not
down
dissolute. I'm not dissolute. Oh no, I think the white people down south are just fake because that means the entire concept of Southern hospitality is inherently false, but it's something that they definitely advertise.
Well, I haven't personally. I haven't seen it because
What do you mean by
around black people?
inverse
so,
racism?
Like, like California has this thing of
We're not racist.
we're not
Everything's cool.
racist, but you don't have anybody on your staff that is black. Like stuff like that. They won't hire people that's black. It's just on different positions, and this is statistics.
Oh, so you mean like more covert racism,
right?
Versus overt?
And
oh no,
did,
I don't prefer either one.
And they did a study.
I think both of those are pretty trash.
They did a study not that long ago where black people thrive more, and it's mostly down south. And I don't.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I don't say that any of that's false. It's just because you thrive somewhere. I don't like the level of deference that I might have to be called to have. I'm not saying that there aren't racial issues in other places. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying that one right there, I don't want to opt into. These ones I don't necessarily know, so I'm not really opting into them. People are just doing things. I would actually have to like opt in to like play a role down there, and that's not something that I would be into.
I don't think you would have to play a role. I mean, I've seen nooses being hung at my workplace in Ohio, and I'm up north. So
I mean, Ohio is not the most liberal place, and I don't think that you cannot get hung anywhere. I don't think that that's what we're saying.
Well, he just said something. But who said something about a noose?
I did, but
okay.
I said that's lynching country because it is.
But and I guess what we're saying is,
I mean, also Ohio has become lynching country as well.
I mean,
if you drive like an hour and a half south, you drive right past the bar with the Confederate.
Every time I take my journey,
that's what we gonna call it.
Yeah, every time I take my journey, I pass this house that still, to this day, got Trump pin signs up.
Cool.
Like flags, like they got like a wood fence, kind of like I got in front of my house. So if y'all don't know, I have this wooden fence that's like wood post and like 2x4s. They have something similar, like an outdoor fence, but all along it, Trump pin flags just hanging the sign, which I don't have any problem with. It's just I know, and then
I know what this is.
Like during like the election time, all the houses and everything like there, all of them had it. So I was like, I recognize what type of area that I'm in,
right? To me,
which doesn't bother me. Like, so that's not my issue. Like, I recognize that anywhere I go in any state, there's going to be a level of racism that is going to be prevalent.
Yeah.
I just
don't like the type of racism that he would be opting into in the South as opposed to here or California.
I don't know. For me, it wasn't really. They just some people are out with it and some people are not. It's to me, I'd rather you be out with it because I know who the fuck I'm dealing with.
Oh,
I don't have to. If you have a Confederate flag, you know, and
you have to understand. I see, as of this point, when dealing with most people, outside of minorities, I probably think it's probably not the greatest way of treating it, but I probably think they're racist until they prove that they aren't.
Yeah.
I exist inside of that lane because I'm a black dude and I don't really have that much area to placate. It's just like, I don't know you. I don't trust you. It's like, I pretty much, as a black guy, I operate how a lot of women have to operate with dudes in general.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's just like, so, yeah, it's just like,
you could want to snatch me up and sell me.
Shut up, Tony.
I'm just saying.
You could just be luring me somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly what it is. Like, women have to constantly be afraid of, is this man going to take me? Is this man going to violate me? Those are crazy. Like, I've never got out of my car and been like, let me look around.
Really?
Because I was afraid that someone was going to, like, knock me over and, like,
I've never been worried about the slavery thing. I've been worried about just randomly getting jumped and robbed. But robbery is generally where it stopped.
I mean, I developed a level of, like, just, like, like, social awareness just because, like, where I grew up and like always fighting. So no, eventually, yeah, I developed, all right, keep your head on the swivel just because it can happen at any time. But like really being worried about like someone coming and snatching me up, not so much. But someone knocking me out behind a garbage can and taking my cookies, again, not so much. But that's a real story that literally happened.
You got your cookies taken?
No, a woman was outside, got knocked out and drugged behind an outside garbage can and was raped.
Oh,
And
Proctor.
then dude got yeah,
It's
exactly.
just like,
Yeah.
it's not. Yeah, no, when you said someone literally knocking you out and taking your cookie, I'm not sure if you were doing a metaphor. It's just like,
Yeah.
you guys, you were just sitting up there and snacking on some Famous Amos. Someone jade you and took your
Nah,
cookies.
nah.
I
That would be
would,
terrible.
I don't.
Someone took
That would be terrible. Like, see,
Is there like you wake
no,
up like,
I'm never worried about that. That's never a thing.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
never worried about like waking up in my booty hole hurt. Like that has never been like something that I had to be like cognizantly aware of. So I
scary
recognize
being a woman. It is.
it's scary being black though too. So I recognize the job. It doubly
But
worse.
Imagine being both.
that's, she just said he had,
Yeah, exactly.
he acknowledges
I
that you have,
recognize that when you're black and something else, it generally makes the situation a little more.
it's like, if you
Precarious.
add, it's just like, these are multipliers.
Yeah, it's like when
It's
you're
just like-
black and homosexual or black and a part of the
LGBTQIA plus.
Yeah, it's a lot of letters. But if you're a part of that community, I recognize that, hey, that probably added a little level of multiplier onto what you have to deal with as a person. So I don't know how we got to that. What were we
I
talking
can't.
We were talking about, well, I guess we kind of digressed
Lynching
from
country
we
and
digress from
racism.
AI.
AI taking things over because of like them people being worried about not dealing people being worried about
Oh.
like dealing with individual people.
What he told me about AI for music is AI is dumb.
It is dumb.
But
Well,
yeah, so
it's
it can't
inherently
never make
dumb.
new
It has to
music.
learn.
It can't inherently make music. So how is this AI making new music?
No. So like the AI is making new music in the sound and style of music that's already current and popular.
So it's never going to progress anything.
AI couldn't be like a Kid Cudi
So you
just
don't
coming out
think
to the
there's
scene.
not going to be people that are hired to progressively make new music?
It doesn't necessarily matter. Well, making like one that means
They turned Justin Bieber into a goddamn cartoon on Amazon.
that
And
doesn't
made him
surprise me.
sing. And made him sing because he doesn't want to tour anymore.
Yeah. But it's also one of those things where, like, yeah, you can hire people to make new music, but at that point, you're hiring producers and you're hiring a whole bunch of other stuff. At that point, you're dealing with the same mechanism. You're just choosing to interact
you're
in
dealing
different
with
ways.
the same mechanism, but the whole issue with the whole celebrity thing, are you really... We're talking about human celebrities. We're not talking about people that make the music or people that
But I'll also say
sing
part
the
of me.
background, sing the music, you know?
I'll also say part of the mystique about like rock stars and stuff like that is the people, the lifestyle, and AIs can never emulate that.
I don't know. I haven't seen some shit on TikTok. I don't know. But from what
I'm never
I've
gonna
seen-
see a computer do a lot of cocaine.
From what I've seen.
Oh well, I guess I could figure
I
out a
followed
way,
that,
but
man, and from what I've seen, I'm like, I
like
don't know, because where we're headed right now, we're headed in a different.
I mean,
utopia.
AI
I
is-
don't know.
AI is pretty important to the way that we actually operate a lot of things, but also AI has to learn and it has to take information in order to actually output things.
I'm not saying that we're gonna be totally obsolete. That's not what
I'm not saying that anybody's gonna. I'm just saying like it's never gonna be on the leading edge. Like AI can make Taylor Swift's, but they can't make, I don't know, what's a very progressive artist. I would say AI can make Taylor Swift's, but they can't make like Brockhamptons. That's the only thing that I have to the top of my head.
I mean, we can speculate now.
Oh, I mean, I'm coming from actual like the
Just
way.
today's.
Well, no, I'm coming from the way AI learns. It takes in the things that already exist and is capable of reproducing probably
Of
something
course.
maybe a little bit ahead of what it is. But if you get somebody who's really ahead of the game and there's not a large amount of, it doesn't have a large body of work, there's not enough control points for it to actually do what it needs to do and actually produce anything.
Y'all should bring up one of his songs. What is? Let me see.
But in any event, what else we doing? My ADHD
What's
friend,
his name? What's that John boy's name?
John.
What's his name? John what?
Oh, Mr. I'm cheated on my wife, dude.
Yeah.
Because that's what he's. I never knew what the dude was. Who the dude was.
I didn't even see the video. I
I didn't
saw the
care.
girl in the bonnet and just like, yeah, I'm like, oh, okay.
I never cared.
None of that actually like surprised me. Like everybody was like, oh my gosh, I knew. I'm like, yeah, we all fucking.
Oh, well, one, it's easier to always say retroactively, yeah, I knew he was cheating on his wife because blah, 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 blah,
Well,
blah,
no,
blah,
I
blah.
knew
Or
he
it was
was
weird.
just like one of those kiss asses online that just needed to pander for an audience. And I used to follow this YouTuber. His name was Everybody Hates Angel, and he called him out like a few years ago. He stole one of his T-shirt designs. No, he stole a few of them.
Did he have him copyrighted?
I think so. I don't know, but
Then just sue his ass and take his money.
but hold on, but a lot of people didn't get their orders, and he kept deleting them off of his Instagram. Derek, whatever his name is, Jackson.
Yep.
He called him out and he asked him, "Hey, dude, like, you could have just asked or whatnot." He basically said some bullshit.
Oh, you can't trust a dude with a man bun.
It's not him.
I understand that, but you still just can't trust anybody with a man bun.
Yeah, I think
that includes you,
sounds kinda
Tony.
weird.
You untrustworthy.
This is the real one, though.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't hear what she had to say.
He wasn't. I mean, the main thing was he's being wildly hypocritical about the way he operates. Well, I mean,
Can we hear the sound or no?
no,
Oh,
because
okay,
that will
yeah.
probably get our stuff flagged.
Okay.
Oh,
We
no,
gotta
YouTube.
read.
You can play it on everything else.
There's nothing.
It only get flagged on YouTube. I don't care. And that's only flagged for monetization. It's not a big deal.
I don't understand why everybody was roasting her.
Look at
That's
her.
the part I didn't like.
Now, I'm saying this publicly, not because I'm married to you guys. First and foremost, I'm accountable to God. Then I have to be accountable to my wife, in which we've already had this conversation. I've already told her literally everything.
I done told her everything I done
Yeah.
did.
So
All the positions, all the wild things.
yeah,
We
so
did the spinning dragon.
Hey,
We've hit I had a Cleveland steamer.
That's literally how all the jokes went because so basically in the video you see him telling everybody about how he did cheat and how he had to get closer to God and
He about to pivot this into a
Basically,
whole
was
new
like-
enterprise and how to recover yourself as a man after you
and
cheated
his wife said, well, she didn't stay. What she said is she left
for the time, and now she's back.
and she was gone for good. And
No,
then,
you're not gone for good. You're
no,
back.
No. I'm telling you what she said. And so then she said that he got closer to God and continued to pursue God and eliminate all of that. And that's how they ended up back together. But people are making fun of her because of her bonnet and the way that he is holding her hand with the Indian death grip.
Speak up, girl. Speak up.
He got
Well,
that.
it's more
He's
so like,
"You're not
you
getting
not
out."
going nowhere. I'll
Bro.
rip your hand
Well,
off.
the thing is that
So
he
you're
only-
like,
he only-
what is going
Yeah,
on?
this is what's happening.
This is the first time I'm seeing her, and I'm just like, why is this the first time I'm seeing her?
Because
Because
she's
I looked through his Instagram and I looked through hers, and she shows him. You know, I knew we were
because
talking
at the
about
end of the
this.
day, he's not the fact that
Oh, and then he also did a reaction video to his own confession video talking about himself. Oh no, you have to hear this.
Oh
'Cause he-
God, no.
All right.
Yeah, turn this up a
And
little
his
bit.
wife are making this video because apparently at some point in their marriage, or maybe
You see, all right, no.
self-proclaimed relationship guru
I love
Derek
Kev on
Jackson
stage.
reacted to his own cheating confession video in third person.
Mhm.
For real.
In third person. Yeah,
So,
watch. Look at this.
when I looked in the comments of this video,
He shows his
I
wife.
don't know if old boy was trolling or not, but he said, D, I think I want to see a reaction to this video. So let's do it. And by the way, I'm going to speak in third person. A lot of you already seen this, but this is Derek Jackson.
Yeah, he did a reaction
He was
to.
making this video.
Yep.
beforehand. And it was
He's-
And you're ignorant enough. You might just think he looks awful lot like the dude.
Now, upon
Nope.
first impression, nothing really stuck out to me about him, but more so about the wife. Like, I heard her say that she stands with her husband. She's proud to love him. I heard her say that, this is some time ago. They've already processed this.
Yeah, so look
overcame
at
this
him.
a long time ago. And nothing's
Already
really new to her.
just copping
But
please
just by her
in
body
third
language,
person.
I was really wondering, like, did he
It's a
force her to
form
do
of
this?
narcissism.
Super uncomfortable, like she doesn't want to be there. But then I watched their live chat that they did right afterwards, and I
Look at
kind of
that.
caught that this is just a part of her personality. So that kind of explains somewhat of her demeanor. She clearly has a mind of her own. If you saw the live chat too, and she said
You can't say nothing bad in this
Yeah.
video about her
She wants to stand by
because
her
you
own.
will.
She feels like-
You don't want her to leave with half.
Now, as far as what he said, I understand
so
and I
he
completely
did
applaud
a-
him taking accountability because too many times we see dudes.
Yep. So he gave himself credit for taking accountability in third person
I
as
hate
he
when
reacted to his cheating
people
video.
Want credit for taking accountability.
Hey, I'm gonna start reacting to my own shit
You should.
and doing it in third person on everything. Everything I do from now on out, I'm just gonna
First-
react to it.
First of all, I hate people that speak in third person. Like,
Ugh.
who the fuck do you think you are?
Oh, I mean, he's gonna. I mean, of course, he's gonna. I mean, you speak about a general. It's like
I
speaking about a
get it.
book in third person, but
Like,
it makes a certain degree of sense. It's just the sheer. It's like you turned around. It's just like
And see what Tony was doing in this situation
shut up,
was
Tony.
he spun it.
actually
His
trying
just
to
like
figure out.
you
how to
turned
roll
it
2
into
blunts at
more
one time.
content. I'm not
Right.
sure if I'm amazed with the gall of it or it's just like
First, it was like 3 women I heard. Probably more.
It was 2 women that came out.
No, it was the third one came out and said she was pregnant by him. But who knows if that's true?
is he raising a child with her inside of
She
is-
was pregnant. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. But 2 is definite, right? So
he
2
got
is-
closer to God. He's probably not close to God anymore.
Mm,
No, he
it's-
said those happened a long time ago.
it's like
What's a long time?
I don't know.
I don't know if it. I don't know if old boy.
In a month,
See,
It's relative.
and this is
That's
why
irrelevant.
I'm laughing at all y'all that was following Derek. What is Jackson? What's his name?
You don't
Jay.
even know who he is. I don't know how you hating on somebody. You don't know who they are. Who you hating
I'm
on?
not hating
You
on
just start
them.
hating out to
It's
the
just
ether.
because he was doing all that expounding of, oh, this is what it would be like me. You want you a man like me. Women was like, we want us a man like Derek Jackson. Derek
I
Jackson.
have a question.
And now look, y'all still want Derek Jackson? Or you
Probably.
want Kevin Samuels?
Neither.
I mean,
One probably closeted gay. I don't fucking know.
Derek Jackson? Damn, that's crazy. Why would you like Kevin?
I'm talking about purse wearing Kevin Samuels.
Hey,
too.
hey, I like a
And
purse every once in a while.
it's-
I like a purse.
He's got a little cis to him,
Hey, that's all right.
but
oh, he could be a metrosexual. I'll
That's
give you
still
all
be
of that.
correct.
nor there. What I'm saying to you guys is do not take these relationship gurus, these online relationship gurus seriously. Take their
Male nor female
Okay.
doesn't
male,
matter.
female, I don't give a
Chipmunk,
damn. Go
Chippendale,
to an actual
neighborhood weed dealer.
therapist. Go to a licensed therapist.
Go to Kevin Samuels.
Don't go to Kevin Samuels.
Kevin.
Don't.
Tony don't even really
'Cause
listen,
if you
dude.
regurgitate some Kevin Samuels in front of you, in front of me, I'm gonna break up with you.
Because she can't argue against it. Kevin
Uh,
Samuels is right.
okay.
All right, when
I'm
something
good.
comes out about that nigga, I want to.
Oh.
I mean, just because I have a question.
No.
I do. I have one question.
Go question.
R. Kelly is a piece of shit.
He absolutely is.
His music, on the other
No,
hand,
don't compare apples and oranges.
is I'm not. All I'm saying is, terrible people sometimes can put out amazing things.
And we have to
Absolutely.
grapple with the actual
Yeah.
listing. It's
I
just
gotta
like
take
it is a
advice
more.
from-
You have to realize it's a moral conundrum every single time I listen to Kanye
I'm
West
not
now.
taking advice from R. Kelly. There's a clear difference. I can listen to
He's
R.
ta-
Kelly's music.
He's saying hide in the closet, and then midgets will do things and all types of wild things.
I don't even want to.
But shit, people listen to all kinds of people.
No, we don't listen to advice that runs our lives. I think there's a little difference between
All right.
you're comparing
Tripping
apples and
Nicole.
oranges.
All right, so let's go to Bill Cosby.
Hell no.
Beep, bop,
Are we saying that
ba-doobie-dee.
Bill Cosby had no good life advice and just general thoughts that he put out and philosophies that he put out into the world.
He made a show and then he told you to pull up your pants or you wouldn't get shot. So no. So
I mean, those are the two things that people point to when they have a issue with him, but that's not all that he did.
No, it's not all he did. I'm not saying everybody's completely bad. I'm not saying that people can't bring out good
but what I guess I'm saying is,
entertainment, but I'm not going to let these people dictate my life
I mean,
or how I should live. Go ahead.
Oh, I was
I'm
gonna
sorry.
say,
bad
like,
messaging in Fat Albert.
I didn't watch Fat Albert. Go ahead, Charles.
I always look at it as one, Bill Cosby, for the most part, he is probably the most prominent black conservative probably to ever live. I would say he is the biggest one, and he is the one who has always championed the independence of black people and not wanting to give them our money to the government and make our own stuff, basically.
Okay.
And that's his stick. But I don't know. But also, Bill Cosby lost touch with things probably after he made millions and millions of dollars. Like, you lose a certain degree of touch. And then, like, I believe Bill Cosby did all the things that they said he did.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, there is a, like I said, probably inside of old suit wearing boy that's not the dude who cheats on his wife, but also the dude who was married twice. There's probably a good portion of that perpetuants who all look at it like, damn, they threw Bill Cosby in jail because he was trying to make up some media empire and get over on all the white people.
I'm not going to put that on people that I don't know. He hasn't put that out there, so I'm not just going to prescribe that to random
been
people.
Married twice and
true.
taking relationships.
Oh, that is the truth. I'm not going to put on.
There's two schools of thought.
There are two
Bill
schools
Cosby conspiracy theorist.
Those who can't cheat.
That's something wild to put on somebody. Like that's
I said a good portion of the
supporter. That's something wild to say about somebody. That is not.
I never said he was doing it. I said a good portion of his constituents. It's like, you gotta admit, inside of that, because he definitely does play to a Hotep-esque type of crowd.
He does.
And Hoteps are also the people who say Bill Cosby was who was gonna create a military empire, a media empire.
Charles
plays with a Hotep as a crowd.
Charles.
Yeah, he does.
He does. From what I've seen, he definitely.
Well, I more so always look at, like, all right, Hoteps tend to be, the ashy face deeps tend to be, I mean, I guess you could describe it as menace, but they very much prescribe to the type of structure that he tends to forward. So, in terms of, like,
I mean, that can be true, but that's like saying Trump is a Hotep supporter by that logic, because he furthers the same structure. So just because they have similarities so I think that there are similarities in this instance of.
That's why I said.
Well, but I wouldn't necessarily say that, because a lot of Hotep culture is a lot of about like Queen and like.
Oh no, that's terrible. I take that as terribly disingenuous half the time.
Not right now. It's about like a lot of divine femininity and like the female Egyptian goddesses. So. That's where Hotep gets into. And so I don't think that he really plays on anything that has to do with being.
But what Charles is saying is he doesn't say like Queen or, he's not like.
No, I would say that he probably hits a broader demographic of people who have a more male-centric perspective. And that might also include the group of Hotep.
That has a the Venn diagram on those two have a significant overlap is the way I would put it.
Yeah, but see, I wouldn't say that male-centric overview is
inherent to being Hotep, to your ashy fake deeps.
I look at, like, let's take it as like this plate in the center of the table. This is all of like the masculine like centric perspective. And inside of it, with all this little shit, is these little, just different subsets of how they manipulate that to what they want. Their nuance, how Hoteps do it, how Menace do it, how the Proud Boys, and how all these just different groups use this archetype. But I don't think that he's really speaking to them. I think that he's talking about the overall broader idea. So I don't think it's more like a Venn diagram where it's his circle overlapping. I think he's targeting this
broad
demographic, which also happens to house a lot of these people.
But it's like my only issue with that is that your housing, like your demographic, tends to house a lot of toxic people.
But it also houses
yeah,
women that are interested in looking at men. So
I mean, that's the thing. Is like it does house those things, but how do you put this inside the best way possible? Well, not necessarily the best way possible. The most articulate way. Yes, women could look at that and they could say like a whole, or they could look at it and look at him and say he's helping me get a type of particular dude. But I would say it's like I never really hear women quoting him though.
I don't think that I think his audience includes that sphere because feminists also have a male-centric mind. The reason that I say that is
I understand
because
what you're saying.
They have to look at what the male-centric world is doing to deconstruct it. So you have to. You couldn't otherwise. It just makes sense.
Yeah,
like you have a program.
You're doing a comparison at that point. You're looking at what you can do and what they can do, and you're seeing where these two things are not particularly equal. And in order to measure something, you have to set a measuring stick.
Yeah,
that's just the way measurements work.
And you generally, I wouldn't say that women aren't capable of understanding. So I'm assuming when they're setting the measuring stick, it's because they understand the situation. And so if you understand, I think that they're also a part of his demographic because like his debate show, I think is geared more towards feminists because that's generally who comes on to argue with him about points of view.
I mean, yeah, generally that's the environment that he's trying to curate for that particular, for that segment. That makes total sense. And both sides are coming to see themselves vindicated. I'm not sure the level of pre-screening he does with the people that he picks for said debate. I'm not sure if you can just come on and be like, hey, I'm here, or if he has a prior conversation and he's like,
I think he usually asks like a few personal questions, like, and generally ask you what you want to talk about. Like the ones that I've watched where the women have come on, he's usually has dropped a couple of different videos and then he asks them, all right, so what do you guys
had white people on the show?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, he destroyed this white girl.
Okay, I never.
Oh
I don't
no,
watch him. I don't.
It was a whole like radio show full of white women.
That's actually. I only ran into this dude through Tony.
Yeah.
Outside of this, I had no idea that this dude existed because I don't go get relationship advice from the internet.
I don't either. Like,
I don't go to him for relationship advice because that's not what I look at him for. Like when he was talking to the white woman, she was talking about how she didn't think that certain things were fair and how men needed women to live. And he said, no, that's not true. Men don't need women to live. We need women to reproduce and procreate. But if women disappear today, men would be fine.
But let me tell you something. You do live longer when there is a woman in your life.
That
is very much true. That doesn't statistically
But
true.
what you're doing is not speaking to the point. That's
I'd say you're gonna longer.
Just a little thing. This just a little thing.
I mean, yeah, but
add into it.
But I guess his point was if men disappear today, since we generally are the builders, the producers in aggregate for 80% of things in the world, if we just disappeared, it's not that women wouldn't have the ability to learn how to do everything. Y'all wouldn't have the time.
Why not?
Because dams are going to overflow.
The rate of deterioration is going to be
Rate
at
of
such.
everything falling
Here's
apart
the
is going to
reality.
happen.
We both need each other. And here's the thing. There's no, oh, if women disappear, we will be okay. No, you wouldn't. If men disappear, we wouldn't be okay. I think there's this issue of man versus woman, and
I don't think it would.
it's really like, and Charles is right. Kevin Samuels is basically male-centered. And
I mean-
of course, men are going to agree with him on a certain level. Some men are going to agree. I should say that, not every, but some men are going to agree with him. But yes, he does have female audience. I know a few that do listen to Kevin Samuels. Am I one of them? No, I don't give a fuck what he has to say because it's just nigga babble to me. So, but go ahead, Charles. I'm sorry.
I don't know what he like, but to that particular conversation, he was actually having a conversation. Well, he was particularly debating with one particular woman that was a part of a 3-person podcast. It was something about like Miami, some type of Miami thing. It's like I just saw they had the Vice City lettering, and she was more so arguing the fact that she was, I guess, upset isn't quite necessarily the word. She was, I mean, the problem is they were having debate, not a conversation, in my opinion, because as of that point, when you enter into a debate, that means there's a winner and a loser, and no one's actually trying to grow from this conversation. You're just trying to win the conversation.
What?
That's kind of one of my sticks about the dude from what I saw. But
It's not really solving the issue or the problem.
I mean, I don't think I don't think the issue, because it was more so about the equality between men and women and the woman's expectations when she's entering into a relationship, or like what she's looking to get from it as opposed to what the man will be looking to get from it. I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
Because she wanted a man that brought something equal to what she bought. She said she deserves a man who brought as much as he brought to a relationship. And his argument is no one deserves anything. You have to fight for what you get. And so his primary point was this is not going to come to you. You have to put yourself in a place where you can go get it.
Meaning,
you can't catch a ball if you're never inside the place where you're inside a place where you can catch it. So if you're not if you're not like on the other side of the person with the mitt, you don't have the opportunity to catch the ball ever. Like if you're inside of the house and they're playing catch outside, you can't play catch outside
Because
when you're in the house.
he asked her like, where did she go? Because she lives in Miami.
okay.
But she was like, I don't go to the club. I'm in the house. I go to the grocery store.
Oh, like you
So,
have
like,
to put yourself in
yes.
a position.
All right.
Oh, okay, I get it. All right.
And so he's like, and then he also said, if you want someone that brings all of this to the table, what are the things that those type of people generally look for?
Mm-hmm.
And are those the things that you're offering?
Mm-hmm.
Because if those aren't the things that you're offering, then that's probably why you're not getting it.
Mm.
It's like
But-
putting out the wrong bait for the right type of fish, quite
But-
essentially.
Like I said, I've watched a couple of his things, and he talked to one black woman, and they had a good conversation. She was a nurse,
Mm.
and she said that she was having a hard time having a long-term relationship, and he said, well, you are busy a majority of the time, and you live in a
Place where there's
where
nobody.
there's like 4,000 people.
The woman was a nurse. She lived inside the middle of nowhere in Tennessee.
Mm.
And she was looking for a man she wanted a traditional patriarchal type of marriage where it was a leader. She considered herself a Southern Belle type.
Yeah.
And she wanted a dude who was capable of leading her.
Yeah.
But she lived inside of a place where, I don't know, it's like if you're a nurse and you're living in inner city Cleveland around a bunch of dudes and you're only around a bunch of dudes who are clearly nowhere near you.
But
She won't go to like the.
But that's what he
So his
suggested.
suggestion was for her to
Places.
move.
Yeah, he said you're a nurse. He said you could be a nurse anywhere. Like
Yeah.
that's somewhere you can. He said so move to somewhere where
Yeah.
there's more people. So
Yeah.
he doesn't always like belittle or try to attack women. So that's why
I
I
get
don't
it.
necessarily have an issue with him. Like it seems like it's a case by case basis. If you come at him aggressively, then he responds in kind. But generally, if you come like seeking a decent conversation, I've seen him give that as well. Not just be like,
I get it.
oh, let me be out to be disrespectful.
I'm not saying everybody has just bad points to them. Just for me personally, I'm not going to go on a show where your main goal is to get viewership.
Yes.
And I'm not going to go to somebody for relationship advice that their main goal is viewership.
Oh no, that's fair.
Their
No,
main
I'm
goal,
not.
but like, yeah, I'm just saying.
He's for entertainment.
Right, he's for entertainment. I think, but there's guys that, and girls, I will say women.
Just
because
people
I've
in
seen
general.
women, just people in general that are going to him thinking that this man is,
A savant.
yeah. And no, that takes therapy, y'all. That's not, internet can't tell you how to fix your relationship.
I do have a question though for y'all in relationships.
What's that?
What is one toxic trait that you bring into relationships that you wish that you didn't? And then what are some of the more toxic traits that you've had to deal with inside of a relationship coming from the receiving end?
Oh, is this something that was spurred from what I said like at the beginning of last week? Oh, my most toxic trait is probably my pessimism, or to a certain degree is realism. But the problem with realism is that it slides back and forth and can be very cutting to people. And I recognize that because when you're speaking to someone, I have learned that speaking in the most curt words is not always the best way of getting things across. I think that's technically toxic, or that might just be a bad trait.
Mine has to be, go ahead.
I would call that
A quirk?
no. I think it's toxic. I think it's lacking emotional intelligence.
To a certain degree, I do. I mean, now I understand, like, I can't always word things the way I want to word them. But, like, 19, 20-year-old me?
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
so no,
why you
no.
out here just taking an M16 and pointing at me and making my feelings feel like complete and total Swiss cheese?
Yeah,
If the holes weren't there already, I wouldn't be shooting through them.
Yeah, no. You can't. So no, you can't just out here and railroad people's feelings. So yeah, I would say that's something toxic. What about
Me? I expect a lot. Like, I'm very
Demanding?
not demanding. I just expect a lot. Like, out of a relationship. A lot. Just, no, I'll say demanding a little bit. I'm a little bit demanding. I can be. But that's just because I put my all into relationships. I do. And I expect the same. If you don't, I get disinterested. I do.
Also, I can sometimes seem very apathetic.
But
And apathy in relationships never particularly drive.
No.
It's just like, are you like, you just seem like you don't care. No, I care. If I didn't care, I wouldn't be listening. But that's not really a valid thing to say to someone.
What about you, Tony?
He's Tony.
Probably that it's not that I lack emotional intelligence, because I generally recognize how people feel. Is that I'll ignore that.
This is how you feel.
I won't say anything like how you do and like make them feel like Swiss cheese or anything like that. But I'll actively, like, I guess, move around the feelings, if that makes sense.
You'll move around feelings?
Yeah.
That is bad.
Like, I know that you feel this way and we're inside of this relationship, but I'm going to continue to do these things and skirt around the way that you feel and put things in this light because you haven't really like articulated it. And so like knowing that people might not be the best at articulating things and then using that to my advantage. So things like that. Like how I told our co-host where I was like, I can tell you 'cause I'm a sniper and I know that he's going to use you.
He's going to skirt every single possible, every single technicality. Is like, well, you didn't say anything, so I didn't know. We had an explicit conversation. It wasn't explicit, so thus you are going to say, he's going to say it wasn't explicit that he didn't know.
Yeah.
And you can't technically say it. You can't for sure say that he knew because you never explicitly said it.
Yep. And so, yeah, things like that. So I think that's probably the more toxic thing that I bring into the relationship or situation, especially when I've already. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So toxic things that we've actually dealt with ourselves.
Yes.
All right. Let's say demanding, controlling,
Damn, he just started.
manipulative,
I can be manipulative. I have been. That's another toxic trait.
emotionally stunted.
Are you demanding? Why do you feel demanding is toxic? You don't feel like someone should be able to have demands?
Having demands on someone, but also understand the priority level of giving demands is also really important.
Yeah.
Like, because just because you demand it doesn't mean it's always the top priority. Like someone saying, I want to go to the movies. At one point in time, I was dating someone who looked at me and said, because I want to go to the movies, you should drop everything that you're doing because my demands are tantamount to whatever you're doing. And my existence was, no. That's not the way the world works. I'm not anywhere near you. Or because I want to do something, it's to circumvent whatever you want to do.
See, that's how I need to. That's one thing I had to work on. Like, well, what I have to do is more important. So,
but importance is relative.
Yeah,
in a lot of cases,
it is. That's why I said what I said.
Someone looking at me and saying, like, I believed you sitting here on the couch with me was more important than what you had to do. Girl, I have a paper to write.
Yeah, I guess I am demanding of people's time, but for a long period of time, I only dated women that didn't have a full schedule. Let's say
had a lot of free time.
Yeah, a lot of free time. A lot of free time.
Like in college, that's a lot easier.
Yeah.
But when you're outside of college, not particularly
It is not
easy.
I mean,
Where you have someone who has a 9 to 5.
it's only easy if you're dating college women.
I mean, when I was in college, I only dated college women.
You went to college at a normal college age.
Yeah. Also had like a giant ass campus. Like going to Kent, which has had like a 60-40 split for women and men.
I dated 2 women at college, but also like women that weren't in college. But no, for me, like but I would also specifically target like women that I knew that didn't have a lot going on, had a lot of free time, might be able to just move in with me, whatever. And
I'm not always around. See, the thing is, I need my space. So just like
I've moved women in the week of dating them.
That's insane to me. But I also understand Tony, so he's not lying. But
yeah,
it's
like
he's very much a pedal to the metal type.
Dive into you because realistically, either I'm going to. So one, I already know people's personalities, and if I like your personality, I like your personality. If I don't like your personality,
what are we doing here?
Probably just going to be sex, and I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to have engagement with you. You're probably not going to be able to spend any other like time with me. I'm not going to invite you to other like settings or like anything that I'm doing that doesn't involve like
no concerts.
Sex. Yeah, none of that. Well, not even like fun or concerts or like. I wouldn't invite someone that I didn't like their personality to come do a podcast. I hate you for real. Why would I want you to sit down? Your personality irritates me.
Why would I want to sit here with you for an hour and a half?
I can tolerate enough time of us getting, I'm horny, I want to have sex with you, we have sex, and then I really don't like you as a person, so I gotta go, or you gotta go. But yeah, so no, I would never invite that type of person to like.
Anything of any actual where you're gonna have to have conversations. Like, would you? We went to the silent disco. Why? Because we always wore headphones.
Yeah, but so once I know that I like your personality and everything, I'm trying to spend a lot of time with you, 72 hours straight.
Yeah, I don't
Come
want
over here because I just
You like
realistically,
being
I'm gonna
around-
die.
You dive into the deep end, and
Yeah,
I'm very
diving
much
right in, and I'm fully explosive into it, and so
as a 6 foot person, I'm existing inside the 3 foot.
I just allow. So yeah, no, I've definitely moved women in. Like, yeah, fuck it. They just bring their clothes over and just stop going home, and this is what it is now.
See,
Like,
I just decided to possibly me and my boyfriend move in, and that's the first time in like history for me. I'm not this type of person that likes,
all throughout my time in Seattle, I probably had some women staying with me off and on.
really.
Yeah.
I never stayed with anyone.
I mean, in Seattle, that's just could be a measure of efficiency. Like, I can't afford to live by my. I'm not talking about for you. I'm talking about for them. It's just like this is like I need some place to live, and if you say it, I can move in here.
No,
I'm gonna do
We
it.
ain't never have a conversation about it. It was just
I'm here now.
yeah, just how going on. What you
No.
leaving for? Like,
I've never lived with a guy, so
I mean, no, I just
I've never.
like I don't know. I've been
It
in,
takes a special type of woman for me to actually want to be around you.
I've
Probably
been in full
24/7.
situations where I've seen women. What I guess, see, for me, my very first relation, like long-term relationship, which is also like my third relationship, it was, I saw her literally every day. Literally every day. We didn't miss a day.
I'm not saying I couldn't
Like, if
see
we
somebody
missed a
for.
day,
There was a problem.
that was because we were having an argument, and that was the reason. But other than that, we saw each other every single day. So I was just already naturally accustomed to just like,
Why
if I
don't
don't
you
see you
here?
every day, I don't really understand. So then once I got out there at my spot, I was like, well, fuck it. You might as well just stay here.
I think when you know, like, but for me, it takes a lot. Like,
Well, I don't know. I know like some of the women weren't the right women, but
I mean, he lived with them. He does not live with them anymore.
Like being around certain women's company. What you're
yeah, I
saying is
enjoy
like,
their company and things like that. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I know that I enjoy you as a person because I've spent enough time engaging with you to recognize that at the very least, I like you as the person. So
I can deal with you.
at the very worst, what this is going to devolve into is
I don't like living with you.
occasionally arguing, have a modicum of good times, and fucking. And no forward progression of the relationship. That's what the situations would devolve into. And that was never bad because they were always 90% of the time happy, little argument here and there, and we fuck a lot.
See,
And so if it's either going to be us moving forward in a relationship, but at that time I also wasn't necessarily like pressing women to be more like serious, or that wasn't necessarily looking for a woman that was like more serious and on her shit. Cause like I said, I was cool with women that didn't have a lot to do. Cause like shit, all I did was go to class 3 days out the week until I was done with school by 12 every day.
see, no,
So I needed a chick to kick. I'm kicking it. I'm out. I'm out here. I'm getting high.
To me, like, for me, just being older, I guess, like, for me moving in with somebody, that is a progression in a relationship.
Oh yeah, now it is. Yes.
Now because it's different. Now you got bills, and now you got
Oh well,
like,
shit. I
mean,
have the
she's-
bills, but they
Right.
didn't. But see, y'all are probably gonna like look at like, hey, I'm gonna pay the light bill and things like that, depending on how it's
Tony
set
was
up.
probably
Right.
just
There's
playing everything,
different-
and you're here.
Oh yeah, Tony.
You're here. I'm having fun
Yeah.
with you. Let's chill. See,
My life is already established,
right.
and I'm bringing you in because I enjoy you.
That's
But I
fine.
love operating out of that place because it allows me to deal with women from like purity. Like I don't really, I like you. So come on.
Like it's just weird now. No, it's just weird.
I don't know why.
This
So
may be
funny.
TMI. It just be weird now that somebody can just know everything about you. They know when you're agitated and when you're angry. They know when your period is coming. It's just fucking. I'm like, how the fuck did you know? It's like,
I mean, there's generally a timer about these things.
right.
You
But
know.
I don't even count my own. Like I'm just like.
But yeah, once you're dealing with somebody after a while, you start to recognize these things. I guess for me, I also enjoy that aspect of it. Like the women that I didn't allow to stay long were the ones that
I no
didn't-
longer enjoy.
not even one that, but also didn't really rise to the task. If I pay everything, I buy all the weed, the food, pay the Netflix, the Wi-Fi,
She doesn't
the
clean up.
rent,
She doesn't clean up.
and she don't do none of that. I don't understand what's going on. The one that lived with me for the longest, the one that I actually brought out here when I first came out,
Mm-hmm.
she was cooking,
Mm-hmm.
cleaning, like washing clothes, and that was her favorite. She liked to wash, clean, shit like that. That was what she would do. So house stayed immaculate, never had an issue. And so
Well, you didn't even have a really.
I think that's
but
fair.
I didn't even have to like speak on it. She just
She did
all right,
it
she's
naturally.
doing this. I'm contributing the way that I can because financially this nigga got it.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that. Like, I've never needed a woman to give me money. Like, it's nice when they do. I'm not going to say that I haven't had women give me money because that'd be a lie. But need is completely different.
Right. You
There's-
never asked for it.
It's
But
like
sometimes I be like, let me get that. I'm not even going to say I haven't done that. Let me have that, please and thank you.
If they offer
If
to
I
pay,
recognize that I can ask you,
right.
I might.
You better not.
But I also know that if you say no, that don't really mean nothing to me either. Anyway. And sometimes I just ask to see how you react because I don't like, if I ask you, can I have something? And you ask me what for, I don't want it anymore.
Tony just says send me $10 sometime, and I just send him $10.
Shit,
It's
sometimes
just,
I say, Charles, send me $200. Charles just, 200's in my Cash App. I just send Charles random numbers and Charles send me the corresponding number to the Cash
no,
App.
I'm a question.
And
Like,
he, no.
I don't necessarily need to question Tony because I know he's good for it.
And he gets it back every time.
I know
I'm-
he's good for it, but
I-
I
well, no,
See, I don't like people when they ask questions. Like if you ask me a question after you send me the money, that's completely different. But if you asking me about why I want it and it's contingent upon what my answer is on whether I'm gonna get it or not, I no longer want it for you because you don't want to give this to me. You want to have some measure of control over what I do.
I mean, once it's out of my hands, if you're borrowing money, you're borrowing money. It's yours to do with what you
And so
please.
that's why it's weird to me. So sometimes I ask for like situations like that because it's like, well, I don't understand why you need to.
I mean, the general increments are pretty self-explanatory.
I
It's
get it. I trust Tony. I'm just saying, like, I'm nosy as
my
Oh, yeah,
general
no, that's why I
parent.
said, like, if you send it over and then be like, hey, yeah, I sent that, but what you need that for? What you
Right,
about to
about
do?
to do?
I don't
That's
know
different, 'cause
because
I'm
Tony
probably gonna
asked
tell
me
you.
these questions in sometimes particularly awkward situations. Like, hey, you got $30 in your Cash App? Here, take $30 and go buy whatever you need to go buy. It's just like you got $5. Oh, he's probably
he may
going.
just
He's probably just going to
he
get a
may-
milkshake or something.
he may
Leave me
just-
alone.
He may just go flip it. I don't know.
Tony always has his money out in the streets. So
It's like
sometimes Tony just don't have like pocket
Liquid.
money. Yeah.
Discreets.
where I
Yeah.
tend to have liquid money.
Yeah, because my money is always out doing something. Like I got
Oh, what'd you do? I bought a
almost
bunch of stocks.
$5,000 sitting in an
Escrow.
auction account escrow.
Really?
Because it just has to sit there while I bid on these houses and wait for the auction to happen. So it's just sitting there.
Oh, so you actually did put the money down for me.
Yeah, no, I
the
went
moment he
full tilt.
found
Oh, yeah.
found something that he wanted to buy, he just
Yes,
next thing you know, all my money's gone.
Yes, I bid on 2 places. But yeah, so it's just sitting in there. So, but yeah, for me, my money's always out in the streets trying to do something. So sometimes I'm like, I'm not about to touch nothing that is out working for me. So let me go to Charles. Charles got some free money. I know Charles got some loose, just liquid cash.
I do all.
I'm on the fixed income. Don't come to me. I be like,
That's why I go
My
to Charles.
limit, yeah, you go to Charles.
I know
Tell
where
him
to
now,
go to.
I can't tell Tony when I'm no longer on the fixed income, making money. Like, no, don't come to me. I'm too broke.
I'ma
It's
know
not
as
even
soon as you make your
necessarily
first
about
deal.
that.
I know.
Deal one, I'm coming to Katrina. So, how you about to invest in the company? Trina, what we doing?
Oh,
Exactly.
Like, bitch, I'm gonna buy a milkshake.
Milkshake company? Bet.
oh, like I said, I'm down to make a brewery.
But what are some of the most toxic relationship traits that you've had to deal with? Big Trina.
Narcissism. Oh my ex.
That seems like a thing for guys.
No, it's different levels.
It's
I mean,
like
it's different levels of narcissism that, you know, when you don't recognize anything that you do wrong, you constantly do it over and over again. But expecting me to come back to you is kind of like, who the fuck are you? No.
I'm the center of your world,
I
girl.
wasn't saying that like
Right.
a good.
The center of your world. And then they get mad at you when you find better and better penis. It's kind of like, well, you aren't the only person out here who wants me. What did you think was going to
Whoa,
happen?
I'm the only person inside the entire world with a penis. Where are you finding these other penises, Fred?
Goddamn mystery
How
penis.
dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you?
The mystery penis.
I mean, every guy does have a level of narcissism.
Well, no, I wasn't saying
Yeah,
that,
to a
like,
certain degree, it's inherent inside our
Everybody-
Oh no, I
personality.
wasn't saying it like that. I was saying it like a lot of guys have problems with narcissism where they view themselves as self-important.
And I hate when people.
I feel like
have-
I'm a narcissist at times.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's also why I try not to speak because I recognize that she'd be great for Tony. So Tony just gotta shut up some of the time because if I don't, y'all gonna think I'm a narcissist. So I just be quiet.
So why did so?
Maybe that's narcissistic to
and
think that.
another thing is, why would you got if you have a problem with commitment, right? Why
Yeah.
would you be with somebody who wants commitment? I think that's so. Why?
That's just understanding what you want.
No, I still want her.
Oh,
I still want her. She's beautiful. No, I still want her. No, I'm just gonna hang on to this. No, I'm gonna get upset when she start dating other men. No.
I mean,
But
that's just being
still
possessive, and
don't
I think
want-
most dudes are possessive.
I still don't want commitment, but I want her.
I'm not possessive. I'm territorial though. Once you tell me you're not mine, you can go. But as long as you tell me you mine, there should be nothing around
You'll
you.
be out here fighting people like you.
Guys,
Oh,
so-
I'm not fighting. I'm just letting them
I'm
know.
a silverback gorilla.
I
Like,
got questions for you, madam.
Which
Why can't nobody be around you? And you gonna look at
why are
me crazy.
you? Why are you with your? Why are you with your
jealous?
cousin?
No. I have questions. Why is he around you? What is his purpose?
What does he do?
What do y'all do together?
To give me penis on the side.
I will drop kick you down the stairs.
Nah.
That's what me and Tony could be, because I would say some crazy shit like that. Be
It's just like why aren't you angry at him? You the one who's sleeping around. He don't know.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with him. Like, no.
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna talk to the person who has control inside of this situation, and that is you. He might not even know I exist.
Probably don't.
It's like what?
Rap
He gonna come up
scallions.
like, what happened? Are you the side dude? Nah, you the side dude. Wait, so that
When
means
the
we're
side dude
both
thinks
dudes.
you the, hey, when the side dude thinks you the side dude, what do you do? Do you just give it up, or do you fight for it still?
I think you both should probably walk away because everybody's getting played.
Like,
into
well-
Somebody's staying.
Well, now, there's no reason that this all can't work out.
I think-
I mean, if that's what if you opted to a poly relationship to begin with,
Yeah,
well,
you can't do that.
unless one person was like you poly with one person and like monogamous with the other, is just like we're inside a monogamous poly relationship.
One of my exes did that with me. He tried to put me in a poly relationship without me
Consenting?
consenting to it. Don't fucking do that.
That's just cheating on
That's
you.
why he got dumped.
One of my exes agreed to be in a poly relationship, but she just kept doing it wrong. So I decided that wasn't going to work out. Like her philosophy was wrong.
To me, like a poly relationship will only work for me if I can date out.
Well, no,
it's
she didn't
not-
want to date niggas. She just wanted to be the most important woman. I was like, but that's not how this works.
That's
Like,
And I'm that way
being in
too.
a poly relationship means that
everyone's
each
important.
relationship is unique, and y'all have a relationship and understand each other, and I have a relationship with her and understand, and that there's no more important person.
I can't do that.
That's
I
like
can't do that.
Yeah, she's
I
like, yeah, no,
to
but I got to be the
centered.
most important.
Yeah.
So you don't understand what a poly relationship is. Got it.
No,
Got it.
sometimes that's an open relationship. That would just be an open
okay,
relationship.
yes. That's the difference. An open
Yeah,
relationship, that means
that
you're
is-
not actually getting into a lasting relationship with another person.
Okay.
Yeah.
That means
Yeah.
you could go out there and mess around.
Yeah, she
And
don't
then
want to
come
be
back.
poly because being poly would be me, you, her in my situation. And she was like, yeah, but I got to be number one. Sweetheart,
That's not the way it works.
that's not how it works.
Like for me,
You can't be number one if I'm all supposed to like care about this woman, respect her, value her opinion and her feelings and how she thinks.
Nah, fuck her feelings for real.
Women get real fuck women when it comes to the nigga they like.
I mean, I feel like that's hot. Well, I guess more dudes are okay with saying fuck that nigga than women are saying fuck that.
see, I'm
'Cause there's a
very,
different level of camaraderie.
I'm territorial. I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't need you in my castle. I don't need another woman breathing my air. I don't need another woman. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't operate that way.
Oh, I mean, it was only like an idea of mine. Seattle did a lot for Tony. Like,
the 4 years
I think
of
that only help. I don't think like poly relationships
I-
work when it's religion based. I don't think it.
that's probably true for me. It was
you about
definitely
to have
like,
that Mormon multi-wife thing
not at
going
all.
on.
It was just the Seattle era was like Tony like got slim, which was something that I really wanted to do, which is something that everybody out here cannot understand for the life of them. Everybody that remembers me when I was like all swole, they're like, why did you lose all that? Because bitch, that was big and I wanted to be skinny with abs and a V cut. And that's what I had for the entire time. And that's what I still have.
I
So-
wanted see, you have to understand, you have to placate to where you are.
Yeah, exactly.
And like Seattle isn't a place for swole people. It's the place for thin guys who are wearing
I did
quilted shirts.
very
and,
well with women, and to the point where like, and then even like right before leaving, like right before I came out here, I got told I was a bitch pretty. Like women had just been boosting my ego to such a level where I was like, yeah, might as well just have like 4 of them. Just
Bitch pretty.
yeah, she was like, you so pretty, you bitch pretty. She's like, you pretty. She's like, you
I don't know
just,
if I should be
like,
insulted
pretty
by
enough,
that.
Like, no, you pretty like how a woman be pretty. Just like that is sexy. Like she was fucking and sucking, so I wasn't insulted. If you still fucking and sucking, I take that as a compliment. She said it with a smile on her face. Was very happy about giving me this compliment.
Bitch pretty.
Yeah, so I took
Oh,
that.
I gotta use that.
Yeah, so I was like, that's crazy.
Oh.
But yeah, so Tony's level was on an all-time high. And then it was kind of working. Women were like in conversation with me about like making this a reality and figuring out how to like have what's it called? A polyamorous relationship.
Mhm.
I just got gifted a threesome during the like summer. That was-
Gifted?
Yeah.
That was it was like happy birthday. You get to sleep with
It
2 other
wasn't
women.
my birthday, but she just brought a friend over and then they both went to my room and then I was like, what the fuck are they doing in my room? And I went to my room and then it was time for sex. So I got gifted a threesome.
What the
Yeah, I had to know.
the world you exist in is totally different from the one I exist in. It's upsetting. It's just like I gotta get out. Like, what are y'all doing in my room?
Imagine said the world that you
What
exist
y'all
in.
doing in my? What the hell's going on?
The sad thing is, I be up here like, what are you doing? Like, hey, come over here. What the fuck are you doing?
No, they
Dang,
weren't.
Charles.
No, see,
Wait a minute, so Charles, if that happens,
they weren't butt naked yet. They were sitting on the edge of the bed, kissing, waiting for me. Literally waiting for me. I was Nigga, yeah.
Wait a minute, so Charles, is that
That's
I would just, I
if
would.
that's the scene you walked into, you
I'm just
make a
confused. It's like, why are you in my room
Hey,
making out?
Hey, I was confused
I love
until they
Charles,
told me to
man.
come here. And then I don't need to really ask any more questions. I can get to the bottom of that. But what I think happened is they want to give me a threesome. I don't really need to ask questions. I think I'm smart enough to know what's going on. I'm going to just let it happen.
But
And
see,
so-
my initial thing is like, this
That's
doesn't
how
happen in
totally-
real life. Where is the camera? Are they filming porn or something?
Even if
I didn't
you
opt in.
get a cut.
I mean,
I didn't opt
sometimes
into this.
it do
That makes
happen
that
in real life.
illegal.
I mean, yeah, but so for me, like I said, it just been a lot of situations like that, back to back to back. I had a woman who only wanted to give me head, but always wanted to. Anytime I wanted to call her, she would just give me head, no matter what, just whenever. Like she'd be at work, like this. She was a lifeguard. She would leave the pool to come out to the car and give me head.
The world you exist in
She's a lifeguard.
isn't real. I don't understand.
People were
Are
depending on you.
dying.
from
Blah, blah,
life.
blah, 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 blah. But she's drowning on something
Like,
else.
bitch, I'm dying.
Yeah,
'cause
so,
you
like,
wanted to
for
get
me-
head.
I just got too high, but that was probably another toxic. Like me getting too into myself was very toxic. I can definitely say that was something that was toxic. For another toxic one of my traits is that was when I reached the height of narcissism. Like I did some wild shit where I left a chick that I had flown out at my apartment because I wanted to.
Trash.
She knew I was leaving to go see another chick.
Trash.
Yes. But
Make that trash noise, Charles.
I
Trash.
don't even-
that is exact. So yeah, no. But I think the most toxic trait that I've dealt with in a relationship is a woman trying to control me with money.
Oh, well, that probably wasn't
That
terribly
is
effective.
terrible.
It was
Guys
such,
and women, I've seen guys and girls.
or control me by favor. Like they'll
Yeah.
do something for you that you don't ask for, and then they'll throw it back in your face when they're mad at you. I did this for you, and whoa.
Why are you keeping a running?
Why are we keeping a record?
Why you keep it- You
Yeah.
keep it better record than my Cash App keeps. What you out here doing?
Yeah, like what are we writing up a score on each other? I don't really understand what's going on. One.
And also, 9 times out of 10, when you do that with me, you're probably not going to win.
Yeah, and then even like just because you are doing these things doesn't give you any level of control over me, my behavior, what I'm going to do, say, go, none of that. It's weird that you think it does. So no, I've had to deal with that a lot, where women to be like, here, let me give you stuff. I don't need things. Well, mostly with women out here in like Cleveland, but I think it's because Cleveland women are used to Cleveland men being very persistent in chasing them, like being very upfront and like letting me know, hey, I want you, and putting in the time and the energy, and like that is the way that they operate and exist.
Mm-hmm.
But once you are with a woman out here, they are generally the ones with the vehicle and like a lot of like
The effort
The-
stops after the courting.
not even that, just
Court.
like the general like real resources the woman generally has is from what I've seen out here.
Okay.
Hmm.
Like most women start a program to become an STNA, then boom, they're making 15 an hour already. That's
There-
at like 18 to 19.
There is that
The-
consensus out here.
The men are probably still making minimum wage, unless now they're at Amazon, things like that. But then all the women are at Amazon, and it's predominantly female centric in most of the Amazons. So they're still making more of the money than the people that are right around their
Yeah.
age.
Am I?
Yes.
Oh.
So
Yeah, you're out.
Am I like out of the ordinary? The
Yeah.
amount of money I
Yeah, you are.
Yes, Charles, go sit out.
Unless you get outside of the city, then yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Very
like if
out.
I guess I'm weird because I'm making near $20. Like when everyone's looking at it, like I don't want people to make $15 an hour. They're still not going to be making as much money as
Like,
I do. So what does it
The
matter?
thing when I was starting to date again, like last year. Well, no, it wasn't the year before. Like I will always try to date somebody
With more.
outside the city.
Oh, so means you're
outside
trying to
the
live
city
in.
limits, I would look like, hey, what do you do for a living? They said like Amazon or something like that. I'm like,
I'm not gonna.
not in a bad way, not like.
But most women out here were completely comfortable in taking care of men, and in that way, like, oh, he's gonna drive my car. Like when I was 19 and dating a 23-year-old, she was mad at me because she's like, yeah, you don't make me feel like we in a relationship because you don't just be taking my car and stuff like that.
What?
Bitch, what?
What does that have to do with
my own
relationship?
car.
And why do I need?
And why-
That's a self-esteem
What level of
thing.
codependence do you need?
But I would say that if I hadn't then continuously seen that's how women operate, women are going to want to spend their money on you, their
Is this
time.
like?
And
Is this like right when y'all start dating, like, or is this like?
Years, like months in, I guess we'll say years is probably a bit.
Wait a minute, what?
Oh,
it's after I've caught their attention and they have feelings for me.
Okay.
Then they immediately get into, let me take care of this nigga. I don't, but that's how they generally, but that's because Cleveland niggas seem to like that. They like she's gonna let me drive her car and we only got the one
Yeah,
vehicle for a long period of time and shit like.
role for like a short period, and
But-
then it didn't work for me.
But
I don't wanna
that's
be
the
codependent.
but that's the general consensus of how they
Right.
operate out here. And so for me, women want to just do all that. You doing all that is cool. I don't care about none of that. I got my own car. I don't want to drive yours. I generally have most of my own things. And then also I have a harder time actually out here dating women than in most places because in California or the West Coast, women do a lot more of the outward pursuing of men.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Just,
I don't know. I like a man to approach me.
It's not
just-
necessarily pursuing in the way of like saying, "Hey, I want to date you," but being more forthcoming with like
there are reasons
Giving,
for
like,
being here.
being around, giving positive energy, letting it be known, and not so much of a
cat and mouse game.
yeah. You got it. Like I said, out here, the women in Cleveland like to be chased by the man. They like for him to be the pursuer and for them to know that, oh, he's pursuing and letting it be known.
Yeah.
In California, it's more of a very mutual, like, I want to spend time with you. I want to be around you. I want to have your energy. They're very into you like you're into them. And so for me, when out here, I'm not going to pursue women like that. I've never have.
I personally like being pursued. I do.
I don't have an issue pursuing, but what I have an issue with
When it's
is
not mutual. When
it doesn't
okay.
feel like
Okay.
I
we're
don't know
both-
what you're thinking.
That's a little different. Like I like.
well, no, because I think that you like a little bit of mysterious
Yeah, I know. I want to
intrigue.
know. I understand. You want to know if I'm into. Absolutely, I get what you're saying.
Well, no, I'm saying that you like probably like being a little slower to come off and like reveal
Yeah.
all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is. At some point, I'll just opt out, and you'll be like, "Well, what happened?" And it's just like, I don't know. I didn't think you cared. And that, because I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I'm not gonna sit around and act and just sit here and be here, and then like be getting there's no results, no nothing is like.
Well, no,
At some
that's generally some results. Like they'll go to dinner with you. You'll
I don't
spend
really-
more time.
That's just going out on dates and general courting stuff, but I don't necessarily think that is results. That is me getting to know a person.
Hmm.
Like that's what, and we've said this before. I'm a weirdo because I think you do that before you consider that being a relationship, whereas a lot of people apparently up to this point, from what like you and another person told me, is just like,
Well, no, I would say that you're probably more accurate where people want to engage, get to know you, do a little bit of that before they get in a relationship. I just think that
most people don't do that here, or a lot of people don't do that. It's like, hey, we're dating now. Okay.
yeah, I mean, I don't think a lot of our generation does that now. I don't think that there's really space allowed for that because of just how high frequency is the only word I can come up with right now.
But that
There is of so many people and just a plethora of just like influx of like new stimulus of, all right, we're not in a relationship, so I'm still allowed to like engage with other people and things like that. And now I've met this new person that I kind of like, and now it's more of a constant influx of like no boundaries, and there's millions of people to engage with, whereas there are boundaries, and I know where I should operate inside of those.
But I understand the type of females that you're talking about because I used to be friends with some of them. Like, it's not the fact that, okay, this nigga fell on a hard time while y'all are dating, y'all in an established relationship. From the get-go, y'all plan on taking care of this nigga.
Yeah, like he ain't really had nothing, and you was
Yeah,
cool with
he didn't
that.
He
have
never had
anything in the
anything. He
beginning.
doesn't plan on having anything. He's not.
I had a friend ex-friend that did that constantly. I had gotten out of that. It was like a bleep in my life. But I'm like, if you don't have the same drive as me, if you don't have the same, weight as me, then I don't want to date you.
I think that has to do with you having your father in your life.
Right. My dad was very
I think
Instrumental.
I don't like, not to be offensive towards women without fathers in their life, but a lot of what I see is the women that they choose to be are the same type of women that their mother
mothers.
was, which is generally like picking a nigga that will be around them, but might not necessarily have more to offer to accept a nigga being around them.
Right.
And that's not a real relationship, but yeah, that's so.
They don't choose anyone who's actually additive. They're just
Right. Like,
a constant zero.
You're right about the mother. I am more like my mom. Like, my mom dated my dad, and yeah, he did. He was broke at one point.
But he never
But-
planned on staying broke.
Yeah, both my parents met in college.
Everybody's
that
broke in
was-
college.
Huh?
Everybody's broke in college more often
everybody's
than not.
broke. I mean, talking about when he first got out and
Yeah.
when he had to establish his business. Yeah, they didn't have a lot of money.
But there was obviously a curb here of like, this is what we're working to get.
Right. That is different, and I think women are confusing that with, oh, I gotta hold a nigga down and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, so what is his?
What is he doing
What
here?
is he doing? Is he doing or is he just saying? Because doing and saying is two
Like,
things.
baby, can I get $25? Because I want to go out to the club tonight. What?
Right.
I thought you were supposed to be working on your business. I am.
Cause me working and me having to take care of the kids, and you just doing what all day? Nothing. It's just what? What are you doing? Standing there? You ain't that pretty. So what?
You'll know he's not that pretty. He could be out here looking like
He could be pretty. All
he could be
wants.
immaculate every day. He
could be
trims his beard.
immaculate. You just a nigga on my couch. So what are you here for?
Yeah, so now
You coming
that's-
home, your house clean every
I
day.
guess
He's sitting there with his legs folded,
Shut
just
the
waiting
fuck
for you.
well,
It's
I
like
think that
That's different.
like a
If I-
dog.
that's why the women are out here like men to pursue them.
Right.
Because if they're going to be like the provider and everything else,
if they
I want him to be like really into me and pursuing and all of those things.
Yeah.
Whereas in the California, or the West Coast, we're not really like looking for them to provide for us, and they're not necessarily looking for us to fully provide for them either. It's more of like,
All right.
we're inside this
we wanna
cooperative
do this,
environment.
and we met and we're having a fun together. We like a lot of the same things. Like, it seems a lot more rooted in like mutual interest.
I should
and,
probably
like,
move from what this sounds
personality.
like.
It possibly
It's
should
like,
should have more
maybe it's
of
just
a-
like- Apparently, dating sucks in Cleveland.
it can be.
I mean, I'm fine with chasing people. It's just chasing people for no particular.
I just stopped. I realized like I really had stopped dating. Well, no, the person I'm dating is a Cleveland guy, but I don't know. Like it. The men that my friends were into, I wasn't into anymore. It was just like, all right,
You saying
So
you
what
don't
does
want to
he
date
do?
shiftless ass
Well,
niggas?
I'm trying to get him to go to school. I'm like, why do you
Oh.
have to try to get him to go to school? He should
Absolutely
wanna go to school.
not.
Why are you signing his application?
Oh, you looking for somebody who builds. They build their significant others into being what they want them to be.
Yeah.
But the problem with doing something like that, as soon as everything gets like rosy, like, well, I'm here now. What you about to do? Why you got one foot out the door?
Shut up.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's like, I'll be back, baby.
I'll be right back.
Will you be back? Where the other? You just jumped into another woman's car. I'm gone.
No, but I am a little like my mom. My mom eventually became a housewife. She knew how to take care of herself, but after a certain point, she didn't have to work anymore.
Like my mother's pretty much allowed to do what she wants now.
That's my dream.
It's like,
I don't want to work anymore.
because my father says just do what makes you happy, and because I make enough to the point where you can do what makes you happy.
And that's a good thing that he gave her that environment to do that.
But she also allowed him to foster his business to the point where she was at that point. So I mean,
That's
there was
right.
a counterbalance in there.
Exactly. Absolutely. I'm not saying absolutely.
So building a business is not a slow thing.
It's a process.
And
I
it's
know.
just like with this, as I'm figuring out, this is a process. There's not necessarily going to be any instant results no matter what we do.
Nope. It's no such thing.
But in any event, I'm surprised. What was the other thing that I was surprised. There's something I thought we would talk about.
Lil Nas X?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, why are we? Oh, his video.
Yeah.
Just real quick before I leave. I had to leave.
I mean, he put his.
I mean, I understand you inherently don't necessarily care about it.
I mean, there was already pictures of it. It's not like he came out and this was a surprise. If you watch his Twitter and his Instagram, he already put on there and you saw him with the BBL. And it was like, what should I do next? And then everybody was like, oh, is that real? And then, no, obviously not. It was for a song. And why would you think that was real?
Like for me,
That just looks uncomfortable if that just didn't look comfortable for him.
like we're talking about his new video with the devil and all that shit and his Nike campaign.
Oh,
I personally am not. I'm spiritual, so I personally don't fuck with that whole imagery. I mean, do whatever you want to do, sell your soul however you want to sell it, but for me, it's a no go.
I don't have any issues with it, but my overall issue with the overall circumstance is everyone else who has issues with it. Because this kind of circles back around the old boy cheating on his wife. It's dudes like him who are looking at it like he out here dancing with the devil. You out here dancing and boinking other women. So why are you so worried about this dude?
I just think that because Lil Nas X was, when he first came out, he was catering to children. Let's keep it real. He performed at little schools. This is online. That's where he performed. And I think the fact is that I understand he's trying to figure out where he is as an artist and all that stuff, but pick and choose. Like I don't expect to listen to Cardi B and my kids to listen to it. You know?
I'm gonna be 100% real.
Yeah.
Your kids should have been playing Red Dead Redemption 2 because that's where that entire video came
This
up.
is a Nicki Minaj video.
This is true.
Is it?
Yes.
For all intents and purposes.
That's who his idol is.
Okay, I
Yeah,
don't-
that's like
Out here giving
before he became famous.
she was twerking with the devil though.
No,
I mean-
it's his video. But if you look at all of its aesthetics and everything like that, he's
The
modeling
popping of the
it
colors,
after,
the so on and so forth.
He's modeling it after his idol, Nicki Minaj.
The video wasn't for me.
I'm not saying it has to be for anyone, but your reason for not necessarily dealing with it does not necessarily seem as hypocritical as a lot of like the populace, because I'm 100% for within our given culture calling spades a spade and saying as Black people we have like at some point we have a real reckoning to do with our like non-heterosexual brothers and sisters.
Oh, you talking about the gay aspect of
Yes.
it. Okay, I'm talking about the
Imagery. Like, you have a problem with the actual, more so the imagery of the video.
I don't care about him being gay. I mean, I don't care if I saw him, doing...
Like, if you're out here doing gay porn, I don't care.
I liked it, WTP by Tiana Taylor. Like, that's not... I like the balls. I like, But as far as the whole devil thing and it just wasn't for me.
But my overall issue ad nauseum is just like people looking at it and be like, oh, well, like we created the environment that fostered his existence because for the most part, as an African American communities, it's not really okay to be gay.
No, it's not.
And at some point, we're gonna have to grapple with that. We're gonna have to deal with a reckoning because, like, at some point, we just gotta call spades a spade. And as intrinsic as like the black churches inside of our overall culture, we kind of have to look at the church too and be like, you're telling us to expropriate members of our given group, of our demographic, because of something that they can't control. So that's pretty much all I have really to say about the Nas X thing, is just like, stop kicking gay people out of our culture because
gay people made our culture for real.
I more so think like the thing that we should probably remove from our culture is the church part, not the gay people. Because the church part is more, as far as I'm concerned, is probably a bit more toxic than the actual gay people. Because, well, not way more toxic, because it leads to us doing lots of stupid things, like saying all gay people are bad, or looking at our actual politics as black people and voting Democrats because of admitting that all the things that Democrats represent technically in some ways benefit the majority of black people, but looking at Republicans and saying, but we are still quintessential Republicans inside of act and deed, or like conservative, is just like, oh, well, we don't want the government in our money. We don't, like, for the most part, for all intents and purposes, we are Republicans. We just look at it and it's just like, religion wise, we believe that religions have a large impact on our politics and all this other stuff. And it's just like we should probably just get rid of the church. It's not really doing anything. And every single church I've ever been a part of has been a wildly toxic place. You got people out here sleeping with other people, so-and-so sleeping with such and such his wife, or the pastor out here sleeping around. There's almost like no church that's completely and totally clean.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
It is just like...
It's like, what? Okay. There's clear gay people in the church. There's preachers that preach against homophobia that are with little boys. Like, it
seems like a fountain of hypocrisy.
Bishop Eddie Long, whatever his name was. Didn't he die of like AIDS or something?
I don't know. I'm not going to necessarily fault anybody for like being gay.
No.
But it's like, that's why I'm more so saying it's just like, this isn't really useful for our culture whatsoever. And I don't think we need this. Like, I don't think we need the church to be moral.
You don't want institutional churches.
No, I don't. I do not want our culture to revolve around church. Okay. And a lot of our culture for a lot of black people does. That is the seminal thing inside of.
I think American culture centers around church though too. I think it does.
Man, we're grappling with that. Like, we're dealing with a problem with that now as we speak.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's just like, you got people like, why are you signing this? Because I'm a Christian. That has nothing to do with your job.
No.
So what you're saying is there's no legitimate argument for signing this bill, right, but you want to sign it because fuck these niggas.
I think your personal beliefs is your personal beliefs, but when people, they confuse Christianity with politics, it's just like, I tune them out. I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't believe in abortion. Okay, well, don't have one. It's like,
and that's the funny thing. Ad nauseum, Black people don't have abortions. It's not a thing that we do a lot. It's actually primarily white people that are having
They
abortions.
keep with this narrative that Black women are having all these abortions. I'm like,
They
no,
definitely don't.
They're not having all these abortions.
It's actually the white women who have all the abortions.
Y'all better stop having them abortions.
I mean, the overall conspiracy theory is always that the white men don't want white women having abortions because it's actually shrinking their percentage of the populace,
That's
and eventually
exactly
they're going to
what it
lose
is.
control.
That is,
I count that as like, I'm not saying that's like the wildest conspiracy theory I've heard, but
I
it's
think
like,
that's true. And so to some degree.
there's a possibility. Well, it's like, it's not the most outlandish thing I've ever heard. That's what I'll say. It's just like,
But some people actually do believe that, yes, you are killing a life, which I understand. They have that right. And I am killing a life. I'm probably going to be the only woman that will admit to that. Like, yes, I am killing a life. But y'all not going to tell me about killing a life where
you're not good. All right.
Y'all still got death row still alive and well in this country.
Ideally, the way it will work for me is like, if you are that against abortion, is like, you got to put up or shut up. So at the end of the day is, if this child gets brought in the world and you, in order to block this abortion, you should actually have to take credit for the child. It's like, this is your child now.
Yep.
Here you go. I don't want this baby. Whoa. You wanted it to be born. It's yours.
Like, people want to say, oh, well, you're just killing like an egg. And I'm like, no, you're killing
That
a
could be a
life.
doctor. No, it can't. I can't afford to send the child to college.
Well, I don't see a reason to be antagonistic towards people and tell them that they're killing a life.
I mean, I'm not antagonistic, but I just don't like this whole, I'm real about it. I'm for abortion. If you want an abortion, get an abortion, but I'm real about it. Yes, you are killing a life. And it's just,
But your reality is your perspective and doesn't have to be given to other people.
no, I don't give it to other people. I'm just saying how I feel.
Oh, well,
I
I
think
thought you
Tony's
said-
more so thinking about more so in general, not particularly to you.
No, not you. I thought she said that. Yeah, I be telling people that you
No.
killing a life, and I was like, well, why do you got to tell people that? That seems
No,
wild.
I think she
When
just
people
said- She said this is about as point blank as I believe. She believes that life is being killed,
well,
but
yeah,
she
you
doesn't
believe
particularly care
that's
that
completely
person is.
fine. You believe me. I don't think that's anything wrong with that.
Like, some people,
But if you going around and people like, oh, you had an abortion, you know you killed somebody when they're like, yeah, I don't think I took a life. And you argue with them, yes, you did. That I think is a little crass. Like, if it helps them feel a way that they didn't take a life, that's their personal
'cause they
relationship.
I get it. They don't want to. They don't want to argue first. Second, they don't want to have that realization that
It's not even about having to have that
I
realization.
mean,
It's
there's a legal definition for when life begins.
about-
yeah, there's illegal, and people are trying to change it. And some doctors believe life.
I
begins
guess
at
I think all of that, just
conception.
like the initial decision was a woman's personal decision, all of the other things that she decides to believe about it are also a woman's personal decision, and no one else has a right or an opinion to them. If she believes that I did take a life,
I mean, that's science, though.
true, but you arguing science with somebody about their body and what they decided to do and how it affects them and their philosophy don't make any sense.
I don't argue with people
I
about
guess
what they decide
I don't
to
mean
do.
argue in a sense of like going back and forth, but I mean like people trying to say, hey, this is what you're doing. You, I guess, informing them about what you believe is the reality seems unnecessary and crass, because at the end of the day, if you do believe that it's a loss of life, maybe that they know that for real and they just don't want to talk about that
Well,
with you
that's
because
what
it's
I'm-
personal.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
if they don't want to talk about it with you because it's
That's
personal,
fine.
you telling them,
I
hey,
never-
this is what you
I
did,
never
is
said
something
that.
that's crass.
I never said that. I never said it to another woman.
Everybody.
I've stated, but I've never came up to say, yeah, you took somebody's life. No, you're wrong. No, I just said, yeah, you did take a life. Sorry, it's just
So
my
you
opinion.
did state it. So you did tell somebody.
I didn't tell somebody. I stated it. I didn't go under somebody's post and be like, yeah, you took another life. I'm like, well, when you have an abortion,
So
yeah,
you
you're
made
taking a
you
life.
made your own status that if you had an abortion,
yes,
you took a life.
Yes, you took a life.
Okay, so when you said you stated it, and you said, yeah, no, you took a life, you keep making it sound like you're
No.
speaking to somebody.
No.
That's what you keep saying.
However you slice and dice it, however you think is however
Slicing.
you think. However you want to handle that conversation.
We
It's
can.
how you handle it.
What science is basically once they derive where life actually begins, and that's the problem with that is that's a matter of to a certain degree of opinion, but because some people believe it starts with consummation, some people believe it starts with the first heartbeat when you're capable, or some people believe when it's actually capable, you're not a parasite when you can actually exist outside of the actual the host.
Just like trans women want to believe that they're real women, and I have to say no. But you turned yourself. I mean, you're a trans woman, but you weren't born a woman, and you're not genetically a woman. It's just
you on that J.K. Rowling trip?
I am. I agree with her.
Oh, that's interesting.
Absolutely.
The entire thing about turfs and all that other stuff.
When you take what she stated, and I'll read exactly what she stated. She wasn't being homophobic. People are in their fucking feelings. Here, I have it. Hold on.
Oh, I understand what the sentimentality
I guess
is just like you're opting into being a woman, quintessentially.
My thing is everybody has so many opinions about everything.
Hold on, dress however you please, call yourself whatever you like, sleep with any consenting adult who will have you. Live your best life in peace and security, but force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real. If sex isn't real, there's no same-sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the lived reality of women globally is erased. She's absolutely right. I know and love trans people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives. It isn't hate. It isn't hate to speak the truth. That's what she said. What part of that is transphobic? Please tell me.
The part where she tells them in a veiled way that they're not real women.
They're not.
But what is the marker of that?
My biological issues are the same as a trans person's biological issues. Me walking this earth as a woman for the last 30 years is the same as a person that just transitioned to being a woman. It's not the same. My issues are different. My issues are different than a trans person's issues. And that's fine. There are trans people that actually agreed with her.
There's white men whose issues are different than other white men's.
But biological issues, what?
I mean,
so the only biological issue,
race. We're not
the only biological issue is maybe you have ovaries in a period.
Ovaries in a period.
That's it. And you can give birth. That's about it.
That's it.
Those are the biological issues.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, if you're talking about social and or economical and things like that, then those are gender issues more than sex issues.
So gender and sex are two different things.
Yes, they are.
So yeah, we can all agree to that. But do you have trans women confusing the two? I'm like, no, you're not biologically a woman. You just transitioned to something I've been living with for the past 30 years.
But I guess
you're new to this. You're new to this space. I'm not saying you can call yourself whatever you want, and I respect it. But at the end of the day, I am a biological woman. Do I want you in my sports? No. Do I want you?
I mean, to be an athlete and to purposely opt over to being a woman's athlete, I'm not saying there's any real particular gain in that because there really isn't. Mm-hmm. Like, if you were to want to be an athlete, it is pretty much categorically proven that you are better off being a male athlete than being a female athlete.
So if there's a female scholarship, should it go to a trans woman or should it go to a biological woman?
I mean, depends on. Well, I would assume if it's a scholarship, then both women are in their adolescence, teenage years, and so they probably have relatively the same experience if they've both been women since they've
get puberty.
Yeah.
Because if you do that point, you're doing hormone blockers, that means you never actually received the benefits of testosterone.
And if you're in a family that allows you to present your identity the way that you feel, then you've probably been able to dress and act this way for a lot longer than it would have been okay to take the hormone blockers. So once it is time, they probably have a pretty close lived experience to what you would call a biological woman.
I disagree, but that's just me. Like,
I mean, if he was 4 and he said, "Hey, I feel like I'm a woman," and
okay, you could feel like you're a woman,
But-
you could feel like you're black.
but
you
what
could
I'm
feel
saying
like you're
is-
white.
and they do everything, they dress, they
move in this
Move
world as if they
and-
are a woman.
and they move and act from 4, they now are going to have the same experiences that a woman would
Is
have.
Rachel Dolezal black? Whatever her last name is.
No,
Okay then. So she had been living as a black woman for how long?
no, she'd been saying no one thought she was black
They
until
did
she.
think she was black
She took pills and did things
Things to
to
darken
appear
her skin.
Ambiguous.
as though she was
Ambiguous.
black.
Once she
Or is
became
it-
an adult, I mean,
No, I'm not talking about when she was killed. She was clearly white. I'm
Yeah,
talking
but so
about
that's what I'm
when
saying.
she
Once
lived
she
as
became an adult-
ambiguous woman, and she went towards the NAACP when she led those marches.
Was she
she-
killed?
no, when she
No.
let him. No, so
No.
what I'm saying is that she wasn't an adult when she did those things,
Mhm.
and so I don't feel like she had the lived experience of a black person. I think that she wanted the experience.
Then a trans woman, I feel like, is the same way. It's just the same. It's the same way for
I
me.
could
The
say
ex-
that
The
your
ex-
perspective is correct if, let's say,
You transitioned when you were 30.
If I was like, you know what, I'm trans, I'm a woman, and I want to be treated as such, you would be 100% correct, in my opinion, that no, I don't have the same lived experience as you,
hmm
because up until this point, I've had the lived experience as a man, regardless of what I've been trapped in the inside as. But I think, on the other hand, if they're 4 and you're 4, y'all probably have pretty much the same lived experience. So I think it depends on when that transition happens, if that argument is valid.
No, it's just. I'm sorry.
If no one knows that they're,
It's not.
if no one knows that they're,
because the
what you
concept
would
of gender
consider a
really
male-
doesn't.
You can feel. You can feel. You
no,
can
no,
change
I'm
your
not. Let's not
gender.
talk about them. It's not
Right.
about them. If no one knows that they're a boy, they present as a woman. Their family calls them by a female name, enrolls them in school as a girl. All the teachers address them as a girl.
Mhm.
At what point do they have an experience that isn't that
They
of a
still
woman?
have a penis and a ball.
But what does that change?
Well,
No, what you said is their
when
lived
you have-
experiences.
You know, when you have an experience as a woman,
So are you
it's-
saying that they don't have a period?
men have periods.
No. So what is that the one thing that you're saying, that the lived experience
Some
that they're
women
missing?
don't have periods. I'm not. Let me just put that disclaimer. I understand some women, a small portion of women, do not have periods. Some of them have ovary issues. Some of them have different issues.
Oh,
What Tony is
what I'm trying to
saying
understand
is-
is what are the things that you're saying is this woman's lived experience? Because either it's time, and no, then the man who just transitioned at 32 can't understand it, but the person who transitioned as a child can, because they are living that
Because
experience.
they're taking hormones and different things. And
because they're treated by society.
You don't
like
start
a
taking
woman,
hormones until
Like-
post 13.
like they're a woman.
Post
Because
13. I didn't know what age it was because I've seen different parents give their kids hormones at.
no, but I'm saying
different
like
ages.
because society is treating them as a woman. If everybody around them,
They are.
yeah,
I mean, if you're presenting
if
as a woman
you-
from the age
if
4,
you never tell anyone that this is a boy, why would they treat them like it's a boy?
Inherently,
If you don't give them the
inherently-
option.
Inherently, you said there's no hormones involved. Inherently, they are still a boy.
you
It's just.
but-
It's just.
What is
Testosterone
that
or estrogen?
inherent thing is what I'm trying to understand.
Tes-
So you think, what is that inherent thing to you?
Inherently,
Yeah.
just my experience as a woman, being a little girl, being picked on for being a little girl. Just it's
But
just
so
different.
if they think you're a little girl and they pick on
There's
you,
no
but
they definitely know I'm a little girl. I go to the women's bathroom as a little
yeah,
girl.
but this
person is going to
person
do the
would
same
do
thing.
those same things. They would go to the bathroom as a little girl.
So they allow that?
Yes.
Yes.
Because bathrooms are based on gender, not sex.
Yes.
Okay.
So what I'm
They
saying is
just
they
started
do.
doing that. So
No, they've always been based off
So
gender and
what
not
I'm
sex.
saying is,
There's probably been more transgender people around you than you probably actually even knew were around you.
to me as a female, sorry, I don't agree. And
But-
it's not going to change my mind. about
Well,
this.
he's trying to understand the
I'm not trying to,
criteria
yeah,
about
I'm not trying to change. I'm just trying to understand like what is the solid criteria that you.
what method are you
consider-
evaluating these things by?
Yeah, like because you keep saying that it's.
my woman parts. Yeah.
So that's it. If you're not born with them, then you're not a woman. That's
Yeah.
it to you.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. So the lived experience doesn't matter then.
No, lived experience also matters. All that is conjoined.
But it can't be
It's
because
conjoined. When you go to the OBGYN for the first time, that is a woman's experience. That is not. What do transgender women go to an OBGYN?
I'm assuming yes.
No, they don't. They don't go. What?
I mean,
okay.
I've-
So
that is
all right.
is
So
an experience.
what that experience is something that can probably be nerve wracking, a little
Me having to
intimidating.
Get on birth control.
Probably
at
scary.
15, 14. Yeah,
Well,
that
that's
is a
not
lived
something that you
experience.
have to do. That's not a.
But
that's something that
majority of
but
young
that's-
adults get on birth.
I don't think that's
women
true.
get on- yeah.
My sister was not on birth
I
control
know
at
lots of
14 or
women that are
15.
not. Yeah.
15, 16.
No.
No, they
They
just
never
think
got on birth
no.
control
No.
because of their periods.
no,
No.
just because.
This
no.
is this conversations I have with other women. So, yeah, there's certain things and lived experiences that I've had that a transgender woman has not had.
But the women that don't. But I'm saying that the lived experience of getting on birth control, maybe they don't have, but there's also women that don't have that. The experience of going to the gynecologist for the first time is probably more so a trepidatious experience to the doctor that creates a lot of nervousness, uncertainty, things like that. I could imagine that once they hit puberty and have to go and see a doctor and start talking about hormones, that might be similar in
Analogous.
like, in analogous of like what they have to go through. So I guess I just don't see.
What?
Age 16,
What?
when women particularly start going on birth
I know.
control.
Oh no, I'm not saying that women don't go on birth control. I know lots of women that have been on birth control at that age.
Do you think I have to explain to
But-
men that I was born a
but-
man? That is not. I don't
But
have
they
that
chose
shade
to.
I don't have to. I don't have that.
But
same
getting on birth control is
experience.
something that every woman that I know chose to do.
Yes, but also I don't have to sit up here and explain to a man I'm not naturally born a female. That is something that trans women have to do. I don't have to do that.
But that
And-
doesn't. That's not a lived experience. So what you're saying is
I don't have
Any-
their lived
so-
experience.
because there's minute differences, they can't be a woman. Because just because you don't have to tell a man that you used to identify or present as a man, you might have to tell a man that, hey, my family's racist. So there are still things that might come with you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
So I
I'm
don't
not
really see how
saying
that
that's
changes.
That's not a deal breaker. What I'm saying is you're talking about lived experience, right? And
Well,
we're talking about.
Tony is trying to establish a criteria by which you evaluate someone's. I mean, quintessentially, it seems like we're figuring out the level of someone being a woman.
yeah.
Because it's like it seems like there's a general amount of hoops that one has to jump through before they join said club based on what J.K. Rowling.
There's no club. It's the fact you can identify however you want to, but in a science, like people trying to change science, it's kind of like no. And I've seen transgenders confused. It's like, well, I am a woman. I'm a woman. I'm a woman. It's like,
But
Well,
Why
the only
aren't they?
the sexes are
Gender,
male
yeah,
or
you
the only
are.
sexes really are male and female.
yeah,
Women has become more so of a gender role, not necessarily a sex.
that's fine. That's what she was getting at. But a lot of people are eliminating the conversation when it comes around sex.
But there is like, because the thing that people default on are X and Y chromosomes, but there are women with Y chromosomes, so that tends to fall through. It's like the pillars in which people tend to have this argument on, there's always some case where it isn't true. So there's no hard and fast rule. And I think that's more so what Tony is getting at, is just like, the experiences always are going to vary. One's mileage is going to just vary. That's the way life is.
I think they're gonna vary, but they're also can be very similar, be very close to
Like-
the
I'm
same
not saying
thing.
we don't have
And so-
some similarities.
But I guess
It's like
so similar to the point where you can't tell the difference, and that's my point. That
he's saying the agony that you had going up to the gynecologist the first time is probably very similar to the first time that this person is going to get hormone replacement therapy and going through all these surgeries to actually get
that
to
they're
this point.
choosing to do.
you chose to get birth control.
No, I have to go to OBGYN to
Ye-
get checked.
I mean,
that is a checkup. That is
To a
check
certain
for
degree, it's
cancer.
like saying you chose to be gay.
But yeah, exactly.
It's like
No, you chose to get. You wanted to get your sex changed,
But
right?
if they feel like
We-
they're a woman, so if the philosophy, if
Not every transgender goes through hormone therapy, if I'm correct.
true, but they
not everybody can afford to go through hormone
But the-
Yeah,
replacement
not
therapy.
everybody. Of
the
course, some people
thought
don't choose to
of
because
in
how
general,
painful it is.
like I would say, basis of being a trans person is feeling and being a different person
Trapped in another person's
trapped
body.
inside of the opposite sex's body.
That's
so
fine.
that's so if they're born like that, then they don't ever choose to go.
They're
to
just choosing to follow this.
They're trying to do the things that are medically going to get them back to being what they feel is whole.
I have a question for you. Since we're on this topic, how far does this go?
What do you mean?
Like, how far? Like, of course, you have the right to change your gender.
Okay.
You know, that is your God-given right. I don't give a shit. But how far does this go as far as people can feel one way? Oh, I feel like I'm black today, so I'm going to go get some melanin shots and become black. It's kind of like that. I've seen people do that. So where do we draw the line? And you say,
Being black is more than just a skin color. It's more of a culture.
okay,
And and being included in that is just like it's like I've never seen a dysphoric. I have seen white people in a hood, but they have never actually they never self-identified as a black person, because it's like their cultural things, their cultural touchstones. But even in that, it's just like that's more of hood culture than it is anything else. So it's like,
can you get to where I'm going with this? Like, just the similarities.
oh, I mean, the similarities between there are some similarities, but the thing is, it's just like it's a straw man. There's no one actually making that argument.
No, it's not a straw man. It's pretty much people are making that argument now. Like, where do we draw that line?
Well, no, it's just like what I'm saying is just like, okay, there are people who are saying they feel like they are a black person. Well, what it's just like it's a conversation I honestly want to have with a trans person. It's just like, what does it is like? Could you actually just
Okay, so race and race is made up.
Okay.
So
Well, some people say, "Oh, we should all be gender neutral."
gender isn't made up. Race
gender is made up. Sex is not made up.
Yeah, like
whatever the
people
correct
would
term
say-
I understand.
But
people
race
say gender is made up.
is made up. So
All you really got is culture.
yes, all you have is culture. So you can't inherently feel like a black person. Like I couldn't inherently feel like an Asian person because that is a race. You don't feel like a fucking culture. It's not something that you feel.
Okay.
That's something that you live, experience, and embrace.
Right.
So when people say, "Oh no, I want to convert to being black," you can't.
So how can you?
What you want to
feel-
do is assimilate culture and darken your skin.
But I feel like that's what trans women are doing with me. They're simulating me.
But
that is not that I mean, that's just how I feel.
I mean, I wouldn't go. That's the amount of hurdles one has to go through in order to do this. Because it's like they have to go through years of therapy, hormone replacement, all this other stuff, all these hurdles.
Absolutely.
And it's just like the level of, I don't think that one can really have that level of maliciousness and actually make it through that process. Because
that
I'm not saying they're bad.
trans women feel like they're females.
And that's nice.
And that is the difference, because they don't feel like they're women. They feel like they're females. They feel
they
like
want to
they're
present it. They want to present as
in a
the gender.
male body, and they want to present as the gender. Has nothing to do with their sexuality. It's because they believe that they're genetically
women.
No, they believe that they're genetically women, and they were just born incorrectly.
Right.
That's different than believing that they were women, because realistically, you can't have that would be like I was saying for race. So no, you can't identify and be like, oh no, I'm a woman. So they probably a lot of people probably don't speak about it correctly. What trans people are doing is transforming from male to female because they believe that they're a female born in a male's body. It has nothing to do with being a woman. But being black, like being a woman, and all those experiences are varied. And so you can't feel like that, because how could you be born feeling like something that is so varied and so unique? So that's the difference.
I get the whole discussion of, trans women or trans men feeling like the opposite sex or born into.
Well, the weird thing is, as a man, men, we actually don't have this issue. There is no equivalence to being a TERF for being a man. Like, I don't understand why we don't particularly have this problem, but if you want to transition to being a dude, fine, whatever, live it up.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that all the way through, but I think when it comes, I can only speak for my gender. I mean, my sex. For individually.
Well, I would say that most of the trans issues that I do hear about are the trans women issues, and not women transitioning into men, but men transitioning into women, which that might have something to do. I don't know what that has to do with, if maybe they're just not highlighting the
I don't
issue.
think they're highlighting it. It's still a painful process.
I'm not saying it's not
Sade's daughter went through that. She transitioned into a man.
Oh, I think it's a painful process. I just wonder, is it as violent and as deadly? Because I know there's a lot of trans death and on the women's side, but I don't know if they're killing a lot of trans men.
I don't know. We have to research.
Yeah, so that's something that
you would have to really research that.
I have no idea about.
I'm not going to sit up here and say that it's an easy fleet, because
I'm not saying that entire process is just inherently not easy
than women, because.
Yeah, I have no idea if one is easier than the other.
Right.
Well, neither of them are easy at all.
Well, I guess not easy in that sense, but if one has less hurdles to go through, because like you said, we don't really hear about women transitioning into men being bashed.
The largest one would be Elliot Page, because they were in front of people, and then with all the because they were Kitty Pryde inside of X-Men 3, and that was a thing, and then there were some issues on that set, and then they came out and they transitioned to male. They haven't actually had the sexual things happen, or the changes of genitalia and stuff like that, but they now identify as male. But I do believe if you were presenting as male and you fully transition to being a male, I don't think you're really ever going to have the same amount of problems.
Well, I don't even know even if you don't fully transition, you take the hormones and you start looking more masculine. I honestly, that's something that I'm curious that I want to research. I
honestly do want to have these conversations with a actual trans person, because it's
you know what?
I don't completely and totally understand.
Maybe that should be the second half of our year, since this show is called Conscious Reconstruction. trying to find just different people to have different honest conversations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I may be ignorant in my feelings, but that's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying it's fact. I'm not putting like, no, you can't. It's just my personal opinion.
Because at some point you have to have you have to actually have an honest discourse about this, because I feel like that's probably one of the things that that's the biggest issue when it comes to dealing with black like people in the civil rights and things of that nature as it is right now, because we can't sit down and have an honest discourse about because there are honestly probably white people who just don't fucking get it.
But not even just not get it, but at the same time, you gotta be prepared that people are going to have their own opinions. And I think that right now, like somebody got offended that I felt that way and they were trans. And I'm just like, that is my opinion. It's always gonna be that. And I don't look at you. You are a woman, and gender wise you are a woman, but sex wise you are not me.
I guess.
And that's just, she got really mad. And I'm like, you're not. And she's like, well, what am I? I'm like, you're a trans woman. You're a transitioning woman. You are not a born female. You transition to that gender. But
I guess that is kind of like being okay with people thinking that black people are inferior.
No.
It's along the same lines.
If you think
How
I
so?
thought she was inferior, I don't think that's on the same
No. I don't
lines.
think that you think that she's inferior or that black people and white people are different.
It's okay with being okay with other people thinking said thing is more so what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Well, if
Yeah,
it-
because
if
it's
it
like
comes off-
because I guess it's you being okay with other people thinking black people is inferior is like you're not okay with that. That's probably the same reason that trans people aren't okay with you vocalizing that opinion.
I was born black.
But-
it's
but
a totally
it's-
different thing.
But
I
that
wasn't-
doesn't matter in the grand scheme.
You are
It-
looking
no,
at
it would matter if they weren't dying because of that opinion. That's
Okay.
why it matters. So you
Okay.
sharing that opinion
allow
reaffirms other people who are willing to go murder them.
No, I don't confirm or murder anybody.
No, not you. Which your opinion of, they're not a real woman.
But that's them. That is them. My opinion
of them not being a real woman reaffirms the other person
that
who
they should
believe-
go out and kill them.
well it
yes, because they believe, look at the other people that believe and feel like I feel. So that's what it does. It gives credence to, I'm not the only one that doesn't think that these people are actually
I
women.
never said they should not.
No,
well
no,
no,
you
is-
don't- that's
we're not
not what I'm
saying
saying.
that you
No,
should take
you
you're
don't-
not saying
I'm
that
not
it's
saying
okay
that
for them
you're
to take
taking it
that
all the way
leap.
that far. That's not what I'm saying you're doing. What I'm saying is you saying that, hey,
That's the same
you putting out
sentimentality
your
that gets
idea
them
about
killed.
You feeling that they're not women,
Mm-hmm.
which for you is more so an opinion that doesn't really like affect your daily life. Like regardless of whether they're women or not, you're gonna continue to live your life or not. But
because people don't agree that you should change your sex. Okay. What am I trying to say?
no, because people are gonna die.
People are gonna die
Behind
based
an
off of
opinion.
the opinion that I have.
Yeah, that for you is just an
People
opinion that doesn't really have any real ramifications. Like them being a woman or not doesn't really affect your life.
No.
And so you can have that opinion and keep it to yourself, and that would never change anything. But you putting it out into the world can be potentially detrimental. So that's why I can see.
I have to remain silent when I don't agree with something because it's
I mean,
detrimental to their life.
I would
When-
say
Yes, when it doesn't affect you, because other than that, you're choosing to be judgmental and intrusive on other people's lives. It has literally nothing to do with you.
Look. On a daily basis, this is not a conversation. If I see a trans person, I'm gonna say, "Oh, you're not a woman." No, they want to be dressed as a woman, fine. But my personal opinion is, no, you're not me. You're not a woman. you transition to a woman, and that's just me. And I'm sorry, it's just never going to change.
I don't want it to change. I want you to.
I get what you're saying.
On like Facebook, I would say
it's very hard. It's very hard for trans women out here. I know. I do not agree. I am totally disagreeing with the killings of trans women. I spoke out against it. But as far as the conversation goes, no, because you're erasing my issues, and you're erasing my. It's just you're trying.
I don't know
to
why women
replace
believe that.
Woman of the year. No, you're woman of the year
because that was a popularity stunt.
You thinking that, and that's fine. I get it.
No,
but
I can give credence to the sports.
You're allowed to take women's opportunities that we had to fight for decades, and you're just now transitioning to this space. It's kind of like it's to me like it's just like
it's a sentimentality that a lot of people have when it's just like you weren't a part of the struggle from the. I look at it like, have you ever dealt with older black people when they look at us and say you don't know what real struggle is? Because it's just like you got it way better than we did because you came in down the line. I look at it something like that.
But we were born into that. That is a little different. I think that is apples
and
oranges.
Well, at that point, like true, we didn't particularly have a choice in that, but it's one of those things where it's just like we are like we are holding up this trouble like this struggle like it's Simba. And it's something that the struggle is something that we should be aspiring towards. No one should have to struggle like that.
No, nobody should.
And I don't, and the big thing that we've always denoted as black people is our struggle does not define us. But it seems like for women, that struggle is more a definition than we want it to be for our race.
I don't know. It's just,
I will say to end this out.
I gotta go going.
Love is love, and everybody
stop killing Asian people.
Yeah, stop the Asian hate.
All right,
we out of here. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. This has been another long episode. Got into a crazy debate. Did not expect that, but hey, that's what happens on Conscious Reconstruction. We will get to Tina Turner. Y'all will wait on it.
I'm sorry, y'all. I meant to get to Tina Turner.
But all right.
Yeah. Fuck this. And I'm out.